Get it set up.
So as the Patriots are up 21-3, the Red Wings are blowing a 4-0 lead, and I'm like, well, this is a hell of a day in the Miller household.
I was sound asleep as that's going on. I went to bed at halftime of the game. I was exhausted.
David, I watched all of it.
Which part? The hockey?
I had it all on.
I
Hockey,
thought you're
basketball, football.
I thought you're not a hockey. I thought you're not really a
I follow
Wings
the
guy.
Wings. I follow the Wings.
Oh, okay.
I just don't follow the NHL very closely, like
Gotcha.
the rest of the league.
Yeah, I got up this morning to see they lost in overtime and blew a 4-0 lead to San Jose.
They scored 3 goals in 49 seconds to go up 4-0 and lost. That's
Gave up 2 shorthanded goals.
I know, and they gave up a late one to tie it.
And what's going on with the Lightning?
I don't know how good they are.
I think you're right. I think we need to have a Lightning guest next week and ask that question.
Are they over the hump or over the hill, I guess?
Yeah.
I don't know if they're over the hill or they're just, they're
not deep enough.
Right. I mean, don't get me wrong. They can win a best of 7 against anybody, but I don't know if they're deep enough to. First off, I don't know if they're deep enough to make it, but secondly, I don't think they're deep enough to go on a run. But boy, they're front end guys. And Trent.
Yeah.
So okay, Miller and Moulton. A couple of things we've hung our hat on in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
It's always nice to have a Joe Burrow, and it's always nice to have a Vasilevsky.
All right. I'll warm up to it.
So if you hear us make a reference, you'll.
None of the gambling starts till 11 a.m., so I cannot place a bet on a game during the
You'll have the juices flowing, though. All right, here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on, yes, another Football Friday.
Football Friday.
How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton here on the Florida Sports Network. FloridaSportsNetwork.com. Thanks so much for being with us. Hope you've had a good week, and let's finish it off together, shall we? Mark, how are you?
I'm doing well. Ready for the weekend. Big plans this weekend. Lot to do. Lots going on. Fired up.
Is this the big Christmas party, office party weekend? Isn't it like a couple of weekends before Christmas? Isn't this the big,
the Miller and Moulton Christmas party?
Oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very sore subject. You would think a Christmas party is not something that would cause a chasm in amongst a couple or a show. But let me tell you, the Miller and Moulton Christmas party, before that, it was the Beasley Broadcasting Christmas party, caused major divisions and angst amongst the members of this show.
Mainly just David.
I'm not a Christmas party guy.
We're having our Christmas party this weekend. A few years back, my wife and I decided to have, because of the office parties and all the parties, and those of us that have kids and younger kids at the time, you got to get babysitters, and it's a whole event just to get to the said party. So we decided to have a party where we invite our friends who have kids, and it's a family Christmas party. So I've got about 60 or so people coming to the house.
Whoa!
On Sunday. We've rented a water slide. There's so many kids that I went water slide.
Wow! And that's saying something, because you've got a pool.
Exactly, but I don't want them all in the pool.
They're going to love the water slide, though. That'll keep them very entertained.
And what happens is we invited, I don't know, 15, 20 couples, of which some aren't going to come. But it looks like most are. My wife goes, well, only about half will come. I said, really? Really?
What world is she living in?
A false reality.
A place where the adults get to still come off as being responsible parents, and yet they get to have adult drinks and adult conversation. She thinks adults are going to say no to that.
So this thing ballooned into a much bigger soiree than I had anticipated. Hence the water slide.
I was going to say it started as a party and now it's a soiree.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
I'll be up as early because we're doing it on Sunday. I will be up as early on Sunday to start preparing for the party as I get up for this show.
Oh, that's awful. That is just awful.
No, it's great.
No.
Friends, people, warmth, Christmas cheer, David.
Okay, now hold on. I'm going to challenge you. Friends,
Yeah, some of them are.
That's what I was getting at. That's how many reach the threshold of air quotes friends. That's, I mean, it's kind of like the Christmas card list. How many we need this year, honey? And usually the list gets smaller every year. I don't know about you, Mark. Maybe you and your wife, it sounds like you're making more and more friends.
We are. In fact, David, you know how many stamps I had to buy for the damn Christmas cards? The wife said, get 80.
Well, all I know is that you told me you will make at least 3 trips to the post office this month. So I understand that it's damn near a calamity in the Miller household because it usually takes a subpoena to get you to the post office.
David, I'm making friends at the post office. I'm there so much. I've even got my favorite cashier.
See? I've got a lady at the post office in which I literally let people who are behind me go so they could talk to the other 2 yahoos because I'm only dealing with her. I love her. Okay.
Does your wife know?
Okay. Oh yeah, I told her. One day she says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm filling out the online service form for the post office." I go, "This lady will be managing the joint by the time I'm done. The reviews I give her, people are going to think we're having a thing." So you're having a soiree, huh?
Yep.
But yeah, so anyway, ladies and gentlemen, very quickly, if you weren't with us in our first and or second acts, I didn't go to the Christmas parties. And that caused angst with Mark a little bit. First
because
off,
it caused angst in the building.
Right, which, no offense, to me, that was a building issue. I mean, give me a break. Who cares? Honestly, who cares?
Well, Mark probably had to answer questions all night. They're like, where's David?
That's exactly right.
That I think caused a large part of it, in which Mark's like, listen, it's bad enough I got to deal with this blankety blank, okay, 5 times a week for 4 hours at a time. I don't care where he is. I don't know where he is, and I don't know why he's not here. Actually, I do know why he's not here. He doesn't like any of you. All right. So at least Mark was truthful. He said, no, he doesn't like any of you. Okay. And inside, his little voice is saying, and I don't like any of you either, but I'm doing the nice thing. And why am I catching his grief for it? So it caused angst between Miller and Moulton. And so instead of us just reconciling it, Mark went over my head and went straight to the wife and said, hey, Christmas party. And she's like, there's Christmas parties? We were invited to Christmas parties and we haven't been going? What? So please, the last few years that we were working together under the same roof, all right, my wife would literally just reach out to Mark and go, what day is the Christmas party? And put it on our social calendar. We're going. Great. You do know I don't like any of those people, and they don't like me. Okay, good. So, some of you may be having one of those tonight, tomorrow. I think this is the big Christmas party weekend.
Oh, yeah.
It's because it's the 2 weekends out, because then otherwise now we got to attend to business the next, 2 weekends. We got to get things done. That sort of deal. This is the big Christmas party weekend.
No, Trent, I'm sorry. No Miller and Moulton Christmas party this year, apparently.
Darn.
Well, Trent was invited to the soiree.
Trent doesn't have a family and kids.
I have no soiree on
This
my
is
radar.
this is a family Christmas
I will
party.
not be going down the slip and slide.
I was going to say it'd be great if you get video of that. We could post it on the site. It'd be phenomenal.
Maybe me. I might do the inaugural run down the slide for you, David.
How about this? You invite Felipe and his significant other. Okay, and Trent, you could just hang along.
And he could be their kid?
Okay, well, I don't know about that. It's just, friend.
Gotcha.
I'd be the kid. That'd be fine.
Listen, Trent will go anywhere for free food, okay?
Yeah.
We know what we're paying him, okay? Trust me, he'll show up not knowing anybody just for the free food and drink.
David, I just endured my first week at the new apartment where my aunt and uncle haven't been cooking for me, and it was a lot of ramen noodles and a lot of applesauce and cereal and popcorn and all that good stuff.
In fact, Mark, I think he may help you put up the slip and slide. Okay. I think he may show up at 5 a.m. on Sunday if you ask nicely. By the way, do you know what Monday is? Monday.
The opening of the sports book in Immokalee?
Ladies and gentlemen, that's where our head is.
Craps and roulette in Immokalee? Oh, I'm sorry. No, what's Monday?
Speaking of which, didn't it open somewhere yesterday and it's opening somewhere today?
Hollywood yesterday.
Tampa
today. Okay. Immokalee Monday.
There you go. And you're going to be there live, right?
I'm going to be there live. I was out there yesterday, saw the whole setup. I can't wait to roll the bones, baby.
Oh, man, I'm so jealous. So Monday is apparently National Breakup Day. Apparently, they went through social media and then just determining people's relationship status and this, that, and the other thing. And they have determined that the day that is exactly 2 weeks before Christmas, that couples come to the realization, we're just not going to work out. And so this way they can cut their losses, don't have to do the Christmas gift thing. And, this way, when they're making plans for Christmas, they can make them separately. No, you come with me to this. So apparently Monday is National Breakup Day. More relationships end Monday, the 11th of December, than any other day of the year. I don't know if that's true, but that's what they think they're figuring out by, doing relationship statuses on social media. Like my wife and I are going to announce our breakup on social media. Who changes their relationship status on social media? Anyway, so if this weekend, tonight, tomorrow night is, the big Christmas party weekend of the season, Monday is National Breakup Day. So do me a favor, when you're hosting your soiree, I want you to look around at all the couples and envision which ones are going to break up on Monday. No,
maybe I'll poll the room.
Hey, is anyone thinking about it?
I didn't think that was a real good conversation starter, but in retrospect, maybe it is. Tomorrow is National Breakup Day.
Right.
Any chance you're going to get rid of the wife?
Right.
When you wake up in the morning.
Yeah. How many of you just brought him along? Okay. Well, for appearance's sake, but come to think of it, as soon as you get back to the ranch, you're going to say, honey, can we talk? Yep.
National Breakup Day.
That's what apparently Monday is. Or on the Miller and Moulton show, it's
the opening of the Craps Sportsbook and Roulette in Immokalee.
There you go. So that's what we're celebrating this weekend.
Yes,
we're celebrating the Seminole Casino around the state reaching a new level. So there you have it, Miller and Moulton. Apparently there were games played last night, and there are going to be games played tonight and through the weekend. So I say we talk about it.
We should, because all of the angst towards last night's game and how pathetic it would be, they showed us.
We were wrong.
We got zappied.
Yes, we did. And the Steelers got Trubisky'd. Man, is that painful.
I don't know if there's a cure for that.
Don't either. Zach Wilson, I think, goes, man, I don't know if I want to be Trubisky.
You've got that right.
Whew. You know, he was the second overall pick of the draft, just like Zach Wilson.
Which second overall pick is a bigger bust?
And then we'll put Ryan Leaf on the poll question, and you can vote. Miller and Moulton.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. The New Mexico UNLV football game is under suspicion for weird betting back in November. New England still picking second with that win. Their strength of schedule is worse than that of Arizona's.
Exactly, DC. Carolina can win a game and still Chicago has the first pick of the draft. Hell, it may even be possible Carolina could win 2. But they can definitely win 1. Mark, you're not going to the soccer party Sunday at Three Oaks?
I'm not.
Is it going to be warm enough for a slip and slide?
Yes, till it rains.
Gotcha. Well, you can do the rain, slip and slide in the rain.
And don't worry, the daughter will be at the soccer party too. Oh, come on now.
Oh, she'll be dropped off and picked up. Must have constant entertainment. Till they turn about 27 years old.
Funny story yesterday in the 9 o'clock hour, David. I get a text that begins in capital letters, holy. Just bought a new car, had HD radio, was listening to Highway to Hell on K-Rock last night, still trying to figure out the buttons in the new car. Must have hit the HD2 button, short story long. There's your voice. This is effing amazing. So good to hear you, buddy. Sounds amazing. This is Smitty, by the way.
How's he doing?
He's doing great. He's doing real estate, and he's selling big-time homes.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes after the hour. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. The starting 5 is coming up in a little more than 15 minutes time. So we had some technical issues on the show yesterday. The 1979 8-track that we use to run this show from the studio that we use, it had a glitch yesterday, and despite all the efforts of Mark and Trent to pound the 8-track on the side and get Bat Out of Hell to stop skipping, I was not on the show for the final hour, which I'm sure made it much better. But, Mark and Trent have to suffer with me for the moment. I'm back. And right as we were about to head to the bonus hour, so along the network, we did not discuss this. The news was breaking that it will be made official later in the day. Jon Rahm is going to live it up. LIV, baby. 300 million minimum. Ownership in his team. Deal could double. Smoke him if you got him. That's a little different than Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka, isn't it?
It is. In fact, so much so that Rory McIlroy, when asked about it, said, well, John will have to be at Bethpage. They'll have to change the rules of the Ryder Cup so that John can be at Bethpage.
Right.
No. I mean, it was F these guys. They're dead to me. They're the worst human beings in the world when everybody else left. Jon Rahm leaves, and Rory McIlroy wants to change all the rules to make sure that Rahm can play in the Ryder Cup.
That's right.
To tell you how things have changed.
But also how popular Rahm is. All right? That it's like, if John's going, he must have good reasons.
Yeah, 300 million of them.
Well, yeah.
He has the same reasons as everybody else.
Yes. Although John did hint, and he had nothing bad to say about the PGA Tour, nothing at all. All right, didn't want to get into. There are reports the PGA Tour behind the scenes is in chaos. Fighting on the PGA Tour policy board. That the two guys that negotiated the framework of a deal with the Saudis have been boxed out. They're not involved in anything anymore. Apparently Patrick Cantlay has more power than Tiger Woods. Whatever. We'll see. I'll tell you what, though, with the way he played at the Ryder Cup, hoo-ah! So Rahm did hint at just kind of the future of golf, and I think actually I can make more of an impact going this way, which to me is interesting. So what is it that he and they are really wanting to do on LIV that certain, because Phil took the money, there's no doubt, but Phil the whole time has been saying, it's time to do more with golf. It's time to go worldwide. It seems as if a couple of guys, they're all went for the money. The money is reason 1A, 1B, Mark. But it does seem to be the number 2 reason is apparently they're selling a worldwide vision of golf. And a few people are like, I kind of like the vision. Now, I'm coming for the money. But, I actually like that vision more than the PGA Tour vision because I really don't care about the Greater Greensboro Open and the St. Jude Classic. And I don't really care if the PGA Tour makes money or not. I thought it was a not-for-profit anyway. But that's what I found interesting.
The PGA Tour does give a ton of money to charities across the country, every city that they're in.
But it's actually, and Bob Harrig was on PGA Tour radio yesterday, and Bob went into a long about, technically the tour can say they gave the money, but they're really shaking down their sponsors to give the money.
It's the way it is with sports teams. This is the NFL. This is the NFL with the pink.
Well, we know, right? The NFL doesn't care about curing breast cancer and supporting people who are suffering from breast cancer. It's a whole marketing ploy. It's to sell pink merchandise, right? But that apparently the way it's structured is that the PGA Tour, they get to have the photo op with the check and what have you, and this is how much money we're giving to the whatever. But really, they shook down the sponsors to give the money. It's not like they're taking it out of their profits. But anyway, we can have that discussion another day. Your thoughts? Jon Rahm, 3rd-ranked golfer in the world. Some people feel he's the best golfer in the world. But technically, he's number 3 behind Scotty and Rory going to LIV.
Well, it's, said it yesterday in the bonus hour. It's a huge face of the tour. This is someone that's very popular. He's young. He's extremely talented. This is someone that was going to be on, is now going to be on the next 5 to 8 Ryder Cup teams because they're going to change the rules for him. That was my first reaction is, what are they going to do with the Ryder Cup? Because this is a key part of the Euros team going forward.
Yeah. If Rory is, Faldo, Monty, pick the, then Rahm is Seve, Sergio. He's a big part of this. And they all love him. Nobody has a bad word to say about Jon Rahm. Even yesterday, did anybody come out on the PGA Tour and say a bad word about Jon Rahm?
Not a damn thing. Just start and end with Rory. We have to make sure John's a part of Bethpage. Just that quote in and of itself surmises to me everything that the whole tour feels about him, because Rory's been the mouthpiece of anti-live golf. So for Rory not to say anything, no one else is either.
Rahm said, I'm not resigning my PGA Tour membership. I'm not resigning my DP World Tour membership. He goes, I envision a day, hopefully not far down the road, where we're all playing on multiple tours. See, that's the other part of this vision. Once again, Phil's a bad person now. He's a bad human being, okay? And there's nothing he's ever said or done that's good. But one of the things he has said in the last year and a half is that I don't understand why we can't play 12 events over here and 8 events over here, and we're independent contractors. Can't we just do what we want and still support all the tours? I'm a golfer. Why can't I just play golf? And that Rahm sounded a little bit like that yesterday. He's like, well, I'm not resigning from anything. I don't have a bad thing to say about any tour.
Well, Phil's the reason Rahm's on this tour.
Well, and the
no. I mean, the money, obviously, but Phil's the one that's been pestering him every day for the last year and a half.
It's true.
I mean, come on.
They do play a lot of practice rounds together.
In fact,
too.
I think, how people put different names in their phone for people. He changed Phil's name in his phone to Live Golf.
Phil just became LIV?
Yes.
So, I mean, he's won a couple, as of now, now he'll have to go through his world golf ranking status is going to go down, but because he's a 2-time major champion, he's got, he's in all the majors for the next few years. But I'm just curious. This is interesting, though. Cam Smith, weeks after he won the Open Championship and was the number 2 golfer in the world, he left for LIV. And now here's Jon Rahm, technically number 3 golfer in the world, but he is the defending Masters champion. So you have the defending Masters and defending PGA champions who are now playing on the LIV Tour. Miller and Moulton. The starting 5 is next.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Myers.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. What's happening?
How you doing, man?
Good, man. How you?
Good to see you.
You too. What are you doing here?
They're doing their toy drive across the street. So
Oh.
I'm helping run their
Where are they at? Starbucks?
Walmart.
Oh, at the Walmart?
Yeah. So I had to come in and do that. That's
Fun.
Yeah, man.
Those guys are doing. I mean, they lost Big Mom, and their ratings are still just smoking.
Yeah, and Stan and Haney had a big book too.
Did they?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I know we did pretty well.
Oh, I'm sure. Because love listening to you guys.
Yeah, we did. I mean, we finished third for men, so
Nice.
can't do much better on 2 tin cans.
Yeah, we got first.
Hey,
25, 64, and or 54 and 35. I am the old folks. So.
David said hello.
Oh,
hey, man.
buddy. All right.
He's running B's board this morning. They're doing their toy drive.
Tell him I'm going to Purdue in 2 weeks.
Oh, he's going to Purdue in 2 weeks. Have you, Trent Roger?
Hey, man.
Great to meet you.
You're doing a good job.
Thank you.
All right.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, good job, man. All right, good to see you guys.
You too.
He's doing B?
He's helping out. They're doing their toy drive, so he's in running the board for him. He's the Hojo of this building, man. It's a utility outfielder right there. He can play 6, 7 positions.
Did they approach you about the Children's Hospital fundraiser?
No. Did who approach me?
Just someone in the building, anybody. I got an email from the sales manager like a month ago. I think it's in March or April. And he was like, would you guys, do a live show? It's like a building wide. It's like their big thing. And I'm like, I mean, could I? Sure. I go, we don't work for you.
No one talks to me.
Well, you did say that yesterday.
And that's fine.
Adam talks to you.
That's
right?
it. Yeah.
Well, I got to admit, though, he's the programming boss. That's not a bad guy to talk to you.
Exactly. Well, you just got to, you got to throw some Kentucky basketball in there every once in a while with Adam.
Okay. Oh, so it's like, with Shane, you got to talk a little Syracuse hoops. I mean, there you go. You got the programming and money covered. I mean, who else you need to talk to? Coffin Ball, you're blaming me for talking out of the parlay?
Of all the things to blame, it's Moulton's fault.
Always is. Hey, listen, no other show is going to preview Army Navy quite the way that we are on this show.
What a cheap shot.
David, I've heard you're quite passionate about it. And I am too, for the record. So this will be fun.
We'll do
Me too.
7-8 minutes with Steve Carney. Mark believes it's a Division III football game.
In fact, it's too early to text Casio, but I was going to tell him to tune in at 7:38 when we do our Army Navy preview.
I don't think it's too early to text him. He's married with 2 kids and 4 jobs. Okay. I don't think he's sleeping much beyond this.
He's out there. When I drove to the casino and I went past, he is out there.
Apparently so. He says he's
7 miles. He's basically where Old Corkscrew Golf Course is. That's how far out he is.
Wow.
And it is all built up all the way out there.
Wow. I didn't realize he was that far. He says he's 20 minutes from the casino.
Yeah.
Golly.
All right. Here we go.
All right, let's do this.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour. Steve Carney will join us 1 hour from now, not to talk Rays baseball. He co-hosts Not to Talk Rays Baseball. He's a Navy vet. He co-hosts an Armed Services football podcast. I don't know if you're aware, Army and Navy are playing tomorrow. in Foxborough. You know, the capital of football in this country. Just ask the Steelers. Man, do the Patriots own them.
Do they ever?
To have this Patriots team go into Pittsburgh and beat them is just, I mean, talk about just call me your daddy. My goodness. I mean, how many AFC championship games did they go in there and beat them in? But for have a 2-10 Patriots team.
And I know it ended up close, but come out and whoop them in the first half.
Whoop them. My goodness. Steelers made history last night. We'll talk about it next. It's time for
The Starting Five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting Five on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
And number 1 is the NFL. Patriots, who had scored 13 points in their last 3 games, scored 21 points in the first half. One of the lowest over-unders ever in NFL betting history was over at the half. Patriots led 21-3, 21-10 at the half. Steelers did score a touchdown, add a 2-point conversion, but could not add anything else to the scoreboard. And the previously 2-10 Patriots hand the Steelers a huge defeat. Bailey Zappi with 3 touchdown passes. They were zappied. 21-18 New England. The Steelers 5 days ago were 7-4, hosting not one, but 2 2-win teams back to back. And they lost to them both. Never been done in NFL history where the team that was hosting 2 opponents that they were more than 5 games ahead of them in the standings, and they lost to them back to back. I say you put a fork in the Steelers. They don't recover from this.
Couldn't agree with you more, David.
And the Steelers
could not agree with you more. I mean, when they're chanting for Mason Rudolph to come in the game loud enough that it's audible, that's a problem.
And all I could think of was the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette columnist during the week that said Mike Tomlin should be coaching for his job over these last 5 games. Look closely at his record. He's won 3 playoff games in the last 12 years. What is going on with the Steelers, Mark? Has Tomlin's run come to an end, or they're just not nearly as good as some of us, and I'm at the head of that line, thought they were going to be?
Well, do we know any more about Pickett now than we did at the start of the season? Or do we think that they picked the wrong guy now? I know he's hurt and he didn't play last night, but he's done nothing when he's been in.
Well, he certainly did not progress this year. The only attribute that he has shown this year is the clutch gene. All right. He did lead them on numerous fourth quarter drives to win games, but he would do, Mark, he had a little Tebow to him. Remember how Tebow would stink for 3 quarters for the Broncos and then lead the Broncos from behind to win in the fourth quarter? And it was like he was awful for 2 hours, but he was clutch in the fourth. I mean, he's got a little of that, but yeah, I mean, you're going to be 2 years in if you're Pittsburgh. Is he the guy? You don't know.
Is it incomplete? Or is it a C-?
But if after 2 years, if you don't know he's the answer, is the answer then no? If you know what I mean? How many guys aren't the guy 2 years in and then become the guy?
Today.
Who are playing
not 20 years ago.
Right.
Today.
And also who are playing regularly. Not like Jordan Love, who didn't play for 3 years. Rodgers didn't play for 3 years. We're talking about who plays regularly for 2 years. He's the guy. But at the end of the 2 years, you're like, I don't know if he's the guy. And then he becomes the guy. Now, in our Twitch chat room, somebody said Tua. Now, see, that's all your opinion of Tua. Like Miller and Moulton thought Tua was the guy. We've thought Tua was the guy from the beginning. So, anyway, think about it. Sean McDermott had to hold an impromptu press event yesterday to address comments that he made during the 2019 training camp in a speech to his team, in which apparently he was trying to talk about teamwork and communication, and he brought up the terrorists in the September 11th attack. And there's a story that came out that basically was knocking Sean McDermott to say he's very awkward and he can't speak, and you know, he even tried to, you know, promote teamwork by talking about the terrorists, which, needless to say, not going over well. So McDermott came out yesterday, gave one of those non-apology apologies, you know, if I offended anyone type deal. Why can't you just say, anyway. So now he just signed a new extension. You know, he's under contract for 4 more years. But they're 6-6. They're out of the playoffs, and apparently he thinks the terrorists and the hijackers need to be commended for their communication and teamwork. We'll see where this goes. By the way, the guy who stole the $22 million from the Jags, his lawyer came out yesterday and said, 99% of the money, gambling debts. Oh, good. 3 years. Nobody suspected a thing. Robbie Gould retired yesterday. He's 41. He retires 10th on the all-time scoring list. 68 playoff kicks, 29 field goals, 39 extra points. Mark, how many did he miss?
Zip, zilch, nada.
There you go. College football. Duke's hiring former Penn State defensive coordinator and Canes head coach Manny Diaz as their next head coach. He apparently was the guy they wanted. They pursued him hard. Gators running back Travis Etienne, center in the transfer portal. That ain't good. He's the 14th Gator, by the way, to leave in the last 4 days. Well, that ain't necessarily good. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some of those guys can't play, but some of them can, like Etienne. In 2 seasons, he rushed for 1,500 yards and 14 touchdowns. Apparently, LSU, Clemson, and wait for it. Apparently, Georgia's very high on his list. He'll be popular.
It stings.
That sure does. Good day for the NCAA yesterday. And by good day, I mean their lawyers. They're facing 2 more lawsuits, one in West Virginia challenging their transfer rules. They said they're illegal. And then the other in California says, what do you mean we can't do pay for play? The hell we can't. This is America. If you say we can't, that violates antitrust laws. They're going to be I'm telling you, they're going to be employees by the end of the decade. And the reason they're going to be employees is that this way the NCAA and big-time college football can do what? Negotiate a salary cap. They're going to change their tune and totally turn it around on these students. And I said students as a joke.
Students? Right.
College hoops. USC head coach Andy Enfield says that Bronny James' debut will likely be Sunday against Long Beach State. LeBron's oldest, remember, had the heart condition, nearly died in a workout in the summer. He had his first full contact practice yesterday. Looks like he's going to play against Long Beach State on Sunday. LeBron will be there because the Lakers are off. Mike Oresco, friend of the show, commissioner of the AAC, he's retiring at the end of the school year, at the end of June. Women's hoops, Florida State beat Jacksonville by 26. The Noles are nationally ranked and they're 7-2. FGCU 7-3. They beat Gardner-Webb by 49. NBA, it'll be Indiana and the Lakers playing for the first in-season tournament title. Halliburton was clutch down the stretch.
Did you see it?
Oh yeah.
Just did the Dame time thing there.
Looked right at him and said, "I know what time it is."
Yep. Uh-huh.
Pacers 128-119. Meanwhile, the Lakers whooped up on the Pelicans 133-89. That's after trailing at the end of the first quarter. LeBron had 30 in 23 minutes. He turns 39 in 3 weeks. Hockey, Lightning lost to Nashville 5-1. Former Lightning Ryan McDonough with a goal and assist. Buffalo went into Boston, beat the Bruins 3-1. Dallas rallied, beat Washington in a shootout 5-4. Ovi scored his 1,500th point, however, on an assist. He still only has 5 goals.
And they're awful.
No, actually, they've been better lately. They're playing the younger guys. Speaking of awful, the Wings scored 3 goals in 49 seconds to lead 4-0 midway through the second period. They gave up that 4-0 lead before the period was over. And then at a 5-4 lead late, San Jose scored with a minute and a half to go to force OT. And the Sharks win it in Detroit in overtime 6-5. That's a point that could come back and haunt them in like 5 months.
Got that right.
Golf, obviously the big news, John Rahm to the LIV, but that broke during the show yesterday. And $300 million guaranteed, could be $600 million. He gets ownership in his team. And both sides, remember, it's kind of interesting. Why is someone leaving the PGA Tour and going to LIV? I thought they were merging. Well, the merger has to happen by the 31st. Jay Monahan, tour commissioner, came out and said that's a hard deadline. Well, if that's the case, Mark, all right, that's 3 weeks tomorrow.
Right, and they're not meeting until next week.
Yeah, this week's meeting got postponed a week.
Right.
And all sides indicate they're very far apart. Hey, you're not going to believe this. One of the stumbling blocks is the PGA Tour having control of the LIV's money. No. What? And apparently also the PGA Tour wants to eliminate the whole team golf thing. And the LIV's like, no, actually. We think that's the future of golf. Meanwhile, speaking of team golf, in your backyard, Mark, Naples, the Grant Thornton Invitational, 16 PGA Tour players teaming up with 16 LPGA Tour players. We got some names in this. Ricky Fowler, Jason Day, Justin Rose, Tony Finau on the men's side. Lexi, Nelly, Lydia, Brooke Henderson, Rose Zhang. This is a nice field. Thank you very much.
Yes, it is.
Apparently, ticket sales are robust. The Pro-Ams went great. Tournament gets underway later today. Peacock today. Golf Channel tomorrow. NBC on Sunday. I just wanted to be able to say Peacock. And at 9 minutes before the hour, that was
the Starting Five every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
Mark, you'll be able to find the golf later this afternoon on Peacock.
Good to know. I'm a subscriber. I'll be able to check it out. It's the Hall of Gymnastics, David. That's why we're subscribers.
Gotcha. I thought it was because they put the Notre Dame Michigan State game on Peacock and they got you. It's the gymnastics, huh?
It's the gymnastics for the wife.
Man, oh man. She could finance 5 channels if they just moved gymnastics around.
Got that right.
My goodness. So there you go. This is Sports World yesterday. Steve Carney in 45 minutes. Army Navy's tomorrow. I'll be crying right around 3 o'clock.
Is that the walk?
No. The walk's at like 12:30.
Okay.
But no, the right around 3 o'clock is the beginning of the broadcast. We do a tease, whatever you want to call it. We do about a 5-minute feature leading into the broadcast, and I cry every year, and I mean that. I have to turn away from Gary so that he's doesn't see me. I'm absolutely crying.
And you've won me over. I still don't necessarily love the football.
Right.
But you've won me over on the event.
Oh.
If you know what I mean.
Very tough ticket, by the way, Army Navy.
Oh,
so if you
and even
ever
tougher
get it
this year.
yes, because it's in Foxborough and it's never there. If you ever stumble upon a ticket, go. Miller and Moulton. Thanks for listening.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're gonna have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Myers.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone, on 5th Avenue in Naples.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Your card arrived, by the way. Did you hear me?
Did you say something?
I did. Your card arrived.
Oh, yours did too, by the way. I was gonna did your wife
I was supposed to be a Christmas card. Yes. And so I had to pick them up. And she texted me and she said, "Did you get the cards?" And I said, "Yes, the magnets are great."
I was going to give you a hard time on the air. Say, what are you forcing us to put your granddaughter on our refrigerator?
We can do this, the short segment. Okay. Because, yes. My wife's like, "What?" And sure enough, she checked her internet order. She said, "I'll be damned. I ordered magnets."
Those are expensive.
Just whatever. God almighty. I will say this. I mean, you can use a magnet. You can keep a magnet. I mean, the cards are all going to end up recycled in 3 weeks.
Yep. You forced your granddaughter onto our refrigerator, David.
Right. Which is either cute or obnoxious as hell.
Could be a poll question.
Maddie's getting big.
Yep.
Will she go on the air or no? She's still not wanting to go on the air?
No.
This could. Oh boy.
They got to make Belichick pick Division II games and all. I mean, when they do that,
I don't know. Will he do FCS?
Right.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
That's where he drafts most of his players from.
Hello.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Football Friday.
Football Friday.
Which got off to a surprising start last night. Not only did the Patriots win, but heck, oh, what a high-scoring affair. 21-18 between the Patriots and the Steelers. I mean, imagine if Iowa and Nebraska ended up 21-18. You would have fell off your chair. Man, Bailey Zappi with 3 touchdown passes in a half. What the heck? You've been zappied.
And now the Patriots think they have their quarterback.
Bill doesn't. Bill's
no, he
not
doesn't.
Impressed. So, speaking of Bill, did you see the news? He's going to be the game day picker. Now, I mean, there are not a lot of choices this weekend. You know, it's a few FCS games and Army-Navy. And so game days at Foxborough. That's where the game is. And they figured, well, you know, he's there. He's in town. Why don't we ask him? And he said yes.
Can't wait for Corso to go not so fast, my friend, on Belichick. Do you think at one point he'll look at Belichick and, you know, it's too bad Cincinnati's not playing in a game so that Corso could go on to Cincinnati?
So do you think Belichick, do you think he'll like McAfee? Okay. Do you think he'll like play along with McAfee? Okay. Or do you think he'll look at McAfee like, you were a punter? It's tough for me to take you seriously.
Put it this way, I'm going to watch.
Okay, well, then there you go.
I will watch. You sent, or the text was sent yesterday in a group chat that you and I are in, and I said must see, and I meant it. It could be a car crash, or it could be really good. We could see a side of Bill we don't see. He could actually have some fun.
Right. Now, Belichick, by the way, was nominated for an Emmy. The NFL did the series Top 100 Players, and they did it on the NFL Network. And it was Rich Eisen hosted, but Belichick was the main analyst on the panel. And he helped select the 100 also. He was on the panel that selected the 100. But that Belichick, he was nominated for an Emmy. He was so good on that series. But that wasn't a yuck it up series.
Right. That was hardcore, serious football history, of which he's great at. But he also has a huge amount of love for the service academies.
His dad, longtime Navy man, all right, Bill grew up, all right, at Annapolis. And so, there's no doubt. I mean, you know who he's going to pick. But that's okay.
David, I know you root for Army, but for everyone else, it's okay whoever he picks. This is one you don't make a wrong pick on.
No. They're both the home team.
Exactly.
Right. Yes. There's no road game here. So, but yes, Belichick, the guest picker. I just can't wait till they turn to him and they go, Bill, North Dakota State at South Dakota. Your thoughts? And he tells a story about drafting Adam Vinatieri out of, who I think was either South Dakota or South Dakota State. Well, I remember we scouted a guy. I mean, that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping they throw some FCS stuff up there, and he talks about all the guys he's scouted and,
FCS guys he's drafted.
Right. Now, an old buddy of mine, Ron Earhart, he was the coach of North Dakota State, used to talk about Fargo. I mean, that's what I'm hoping they do with him. But, hey, at least he's not going to be on set coming off a 6-game losing streak.
The reason I think Belichick will tolerate McAfee is that McAfee has Saban on every week on his show.
That's a good point.
And if Saban's doing McAfee, Saban and Bill talk enough and they're tight. So I think that I think he'll play along.
Plus, I think McAfee will be deferential. His NFL career was with the Colts during the height of the Peyton Colts, Brady, Patriots rivalry. So I'll bet he's probably got a couple stories, both of them about each other probably. So I'm with you. I'm all in. I am all in. I can't wait to see it.
When do you get the opportunity to have perhaps the greatest who's ever coached in the league to sit down for a period of time and be able to be not so serious?
Right.
Because you can't, this isn't his presser where he's going to be out of Cincinnati. He's got to bring some semblance of entertainment, or at least try. And that's worth it to me. If it's awkward, great. If he's great, even better.
Please. And if he's good, you'll have the networks going, oh man, maybe we can get him to quit. Maybe we can get him to join, and Fox is going, man, we got a whole crew that's about to retire. Bradshaw, Jimmy. I mean, they're getting up there. Maybe we can put Belichick on, But I'm in. I hope we get to the state. We should get to the stadium and be set up, because you have to get there early if you're doing Army Navy. I mean, this just in, security's a little tight. So I'm hoping to be in place to be able to watch it. And I think we will be. So that's good. But Belichick, the guest picker tomorrow. Hey, it's an interesting NFL weekend.
It really is, because there's a couple of marquee games, but there's not a game in which a playoff implication's not being sought after by one of the opponents. It's an unusual week in that regard.
Yet you've got so much of the league that's 7-5, 6-6, 5-7, that there's a lot, and with all the backup quarterbacks that we have in action, that you look at some of these matchups and you're thinking, well, it's a game that's got playoff implications. It's probably going to be a close game, but I don't know how entertaining it's going to be.
You mean like Jags Browns?
Yes.
I mean, that's a big game.
Yes.
Bengals Colts.
Now, I got to admit, Minshew's fun, and Jake Browning was walking off the field on Monday looking at Joe Burrow going, not bad, huh? Huh? But yes. A lot of low spreads, too. A lot of low spreads. Tampa Bay, Atlanta, 2.5. Jacksonville, Cleveland, 3. Indy, Cincinnati, 2. Texans, Jets, 3.5. Lions, Bears, only 3.5, which I find interesting. Hell, Carolina on the road's only a 5-point dog because they're likely facing Jameis and the Saints. Vikings, Raiders, 3. Bills, Chiefs, a headline game. Spreads 1. Can you believe that's nearly a pick'em? The Chiefs at home against the 6-6 Bills, and the Chiefs are just a 1-point favorite?
Yeah, I'm coming off of a loss.
I know. You and I can sense it right now when we do our picks. You and I are we're going to back up the truck on the Chiefs, aren't we?
Well, it certainly caught my eye because I don't see him losing 2 in a row.
Chargers Broncos is 2.5. Even the marquee game of the week, Eagles Cowboys Sunday night's only 3.5. I mean, you got a couple. The Dolphins are the biggest number on the board. They're 13 over Tennessee. The Niners are 11 over Seattle. But man, got a lot of games that are, basically field goal spreads or less. And yet all the backup quarterbacks that are playing this week, we don't know how entertaining the games are going to be, but they should be close. There's a lot riding on a lot of them.
And we'll get some breakout performances from these quarterbacks. You know it's inevitable. What Browning did last week, what Zappe did last night. Not expected at all.
No, well, think about it. Jake Browning and Bailey Zappe the last 4 days in the NFL.
Bailey Zappe sounds like he should be doing cover tunes at a bar on a beach. Who's performing today? Bailey Zappe.
Bailey Zappe and the Zappers.
Right.
See, it's funny. I think Bailey Zappe is like one of the Jetsons.
Bailey Zappe came to East Lansing my senior year of college, and he threw for 500 yards in Spartan Stadium. I mean, we blew him out, of course, but they were throwing the ball the whole time. Well, Western Kentucky.
Of course.
Of course.
No, but I just remember watching that, and then I remember him getting draft buzz, after that. And I was like, hey, I saw that guy play. He can spin it.
Listen to him over here. He can spin it. Who did we hire? What is going on here? He sounds like, he could be a Bailey Zappe.
I'm in the band. I'm in Bailey Zappe's band.
Plays bass for Bailey Zappe.
Guys, I got to admit, love to be a part of your show. And Mark, you and I have a lot in common with the whole Michigan State thing. We both saw Kirk Cousins spin it.
Wow. Boy,
don't you think Bailey Zappe has a voice like that? I mean, come on. You really think he has Trent's voice? I mean, Trent has an authoritative voice. Great voice, by the way, Trent. Great set of pipes. You should have a good career in radio. If there is radio for you to have a career in, you'll have a great career in it. Okay, but Bailey Zappe, I mean, come on.
The more I think about it, it's not a band. He's an actor on a kid's show on Nickelodeon.
Starring
Bailey Zappe.
Bailey Zappe.
Poll question. What profession does Bailey Zappe sound like he comes from?
Hey, appearing at the mall from 2 to 4, taking pictures and signing autographs for your kids. It's Nickelodeon's Bailey Zappi.
Either that or just another quarterback from New England that can dominate the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, wow. Is that painful?
Arizona and New England back to back, Pittsburgh. How does it feel? Oh, Miller and Moulton.
Two-win team.
And they took you down. Thanks for listening. Back in a moment.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
I get one of those T-shirts with the sponsor on the sleeve?
Sorry, I forgot to turn the mics back on. What'd you say, David?
I'm just reading the one comment in the Twitch chat room. Where can I get one of those T-shirts with the sponsor on the sleeve? Get a dozen donuts for $1? I'm going to tell my mother. I'll be with her. We'll be having lunch together at White Castle.
White Castle.
Good. Oh, yeah.
What's the order there, David?
12 cheeseburgers.
I was going to say, don't they do that deal where you can get...
They buy them by a sack.
Yeah.
The sack's either 10 or 12, depending on how many they can fit in.
Never had White Castle.
Sorry.
They had one right where I lived in Nashville, but it was abandoned. All the signage was still up and everything, but there was nothing inside. Never got the timing right with White Castle. All right, here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. We will make our picks next segment after we talk a little Army-Navy. Steve Carney to join us to preview Army-Navy. Not the Rays, Army-Navy. So there, coming up. Hey, thanks for the card. Your guy's Christmas card came. The only one we've received so far.
Really?
By the way. Yep. Only
We've got
one.
a couple. We got yours.
How do you like our card?
So I get the card in the mail and it was heavy in the envelope. It was a very heavy card. These cards are paper, and this one clearly I was sent something by the Moulton household that was not a paper card. I thought for a moment they sent me something. I didn't know what it was. And I open it to find a Christmas card magnet. Featuring pictures of David's granddaughter.
And nothing else.
Nothing else.
Nope. No husband, wife, daughter.
No picture no picture of grandma and grandpa with the granddaughter.
No.
That would kind of tell you who it is.
Right.
Because I've never seen this kid. I've seen some pictures. They've been sent to me, but I don't commit those to memory. It's someone else's kid, to be honest with you.
Exactly.
Well, I don't care.
Exactly. Someone you're not responsible for financially or otherwise. What do you care?
And I left it alone because we've had the card for a few days now. And I wondered why you were forcing your granddaughter onto my refrigerator.
Which is either the cutest card of the season or the most obnoxious.
And that, my friends, could be the poll question for today.
So there is a story behind it. Incompetence. That's the story. See, if you think I'm technologically challenged, a close second, and she is more technologically advanced than me, but in the area code, silver, bronze medalist is my wife. And so she was going to order them online, Mark. I mean, that's right. You order everything online. Right. Apparently, she clicked and ordered magnets instead of cards. So the pictures that we sent in, which was supposed to be a card, and then, on the inside, we could write some things and personalize it and what have you. And put it this way, you'd know who it's from. Right. Instead of having to look at the outside of the envelope and go, who the hell sent us this? But yes, How about a picture of my granddaughter on your refrigerator?
It's there for now. It may end up on the garage fridge after Christmas.
Yes.
That's where magnets go to die in our house, David.
Well, I will say, I do think our Christmas card / magnet will have a longer shelf life than if it was just a card.
That in and of itself is a great question. I want to know. I mean, I really think you need to do follow-up R&D on these cards to see how many made it to a refrigerator, how many just went, what in the hell is this?
Should we send them out kind of like, thank yous after a wedding? Should we send little things or send them out, when you get a wedding, what do you want? Do you want the beef or chicken? Okay, I think I'll send them out to everybody we send them to and said, so do you still have the magnet on the fridge? Yes.
There's a post-magnet survey question. You can
correct.
check the box for what, there's like 4 options.
Yes, no, or like Mark said, yes, but we moved it to a fridge that no one can see.
Or other, and then put like 3 lines and say, please specify.
I must say, it takes a lot to get on our refrigerator because that refrigerator is reserved for the daughter's magnets because we always get with her sports teams, I just buy the magnet. So you get the cute little picture of her in her soccer uniform and one not so cute picture of her in her soccer uniform. But those go up. And the daughter, it's her fridge. Report cards, good test scores, things like that. And now your granddaughter.
And not only that, it's not a small magnet.
No.
It wasn't a little round thing. It wasn't a little square thing. No. It was Nebraska. No. We sent it. It got the shape and then, everything. It's one of the Dakotas. Boom. Here you go. Big rectangle. Here you go.
5.5 by 8.5, folks. That was not a small magnet.
No, not a small magnet. In which, I'll tell you what, though, maybe this could, you're having this big soiree Sunday with all these people who are not your friends who are coming over to, eat hundreds of dollars worth of food and drink that you're providing. It's very nice of you. All right. Do me a favor, over under 4.5. How many of them go, hey, who's this kid on the fridge?
You know what? I'll tell the wife, and we'll keep track of that.
Okay.
4.5's the over under?
Over under. Well, you said there's going to be at least 60 people there. So
right. I like the over under.
Because they're going to know your daughter. So they're going to go to the fridge at least once. So they're going to go to the fridge. They're going to see all the pictures of your daughter. And then they're going to see a kid who the hell who's this kid? They're going to look around the room and go, anybody seen this one before?
David, I'm starting to think you might want to attend the soiree.
No, Trent, I'm into R&D. Mark and I don't necessarily want to attend. We just want a scouting report. That's what we want. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, okay, we are the couple that, we sent magnets instead of
cards.
And there's nothing on the magnet that really identifies who the heck it's coming from.
No, just getting a picture, just getting 3 pictures of some random kid sent
exactly.
around the country.
Right. Might as well be a picture in a frame at a Hallmark store. Right. That's how we roll.
Where is the Christmas letter? That's all I want. Bring back after the magnet, bring back the damn letter.
You got a good point.
Time now for our play of the day. Trent Bally, what do you have for us?
We'll go to the Motor City. I know you're all shocked. The Red Wings scored 3 goals in a very short time, as David alluded to earlier.
49 seconds. They scored 3 goals in 49 seconds to take a 4-0 lead. Sell it, baby.
And
Sell
nonetheless, the Sharks came storming back to force OT when this happened.
Raymond off his back foot, and now a foot race, and here's Zetterlund in alone on the breakaway. Granlund scores! They did it again! The Sharks with an unbelievable comeback, and then the overtime winner here in Detroit.
They did it again, all right. 3-goal comeback on Tuesday, 4-goal comeback last night on Thursday. Sharks win at 6-5 in OT. That was Granlund's 500th point in the NHL on the same night that Alex Ovechkin scores his 1,500th point. And there's your play of the day. Giving hockey a little love today. Wanted to make it football related, but, I how that goes. The Patriots and the Steelers get together. What could possibly be play of the day worthy in that game?
Zappy!
Are you kidding? All right. A character out of the Jetsons scored 3 touchdown passes in the first half. But I'm shocked. A, he just ran a highlight against one of his beloved Detroit teams. And B, I figured, he's a hooper head. And he was going to go Halliburton stagger against Milwaukee. That's where I thought we were going. So I'm impressed.
It was a good call by the San Jose announcer there. I like that.
It was a great call. And it was remarkable that they came back from a 4-goal deficit against the Wings. The Wings are a good team. They're good. Not great. They're good. They're formidable.
They are what their record is. If you go by that, they're not a bad little hockey team. They've played above their skis for this first half of the season.
Looked like a playoff team. Finally.
You wonder late if that point that they blew last night is going to be valuable. Miller and Moulton. All right, baby. We're making our football picks after we talk a little Army-Navy with Steve Carney next.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
There's that Department of Health ad that runs about quitting tobacco, but the beginning of it is sort of cut off. And it's supposed to say quitting tobacco isn't easy, but it says tobacco isn't easy. And every time I hear it, I'm like, we should probably fix that.
So I did all of the today was the day when for the week, because I knew I had a lot going on, and somehow I didn't print out today's. So I'm redoing it.
Okay. I'm only doing 5 this week.
Good.
For your picks?
Yep.
Are you going to pick Army Navy?
Yes, that's it. I have to. And I'm taking Army. I take Army every year.
I take Navy every year, which hasn't panned out great, of course.
I take the under.
Yes, well, that's a whole other story.
What's the percentage hit rate for that? I mean, it's outrageous.
Over 90%.
Yeah. I just don't know what to do with that line. or that number, I should say.
Is it like 27.5?
Yes.
David, I'm with you though. I look forward to this every year. My dad always made a big deal of it. Like it's always fun to watch. I love it.
Army-Navy went under 16 years in a row. Last year's game went double overtime, and that's why it went over. But I think it was 10-10 at the end of regulation.
Steve is locked and loaded.
Awesome. By the way, can you ask him, is he in Providence? Is he in Foxborough?
I will ask. He is not. He's at home.
Okay.
They have a Radio Row for this game.
Yes, they do. I have, in the past, I have thought about, should we go? I mean, think about, some of the people who played in the game.
Here we go.
I mean, you get Staubach.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour, Pat Kirwan to talk all things NFL. Coming up at the top of the hour, Mark Lai to talk about Jon Rahm leaving the PGA Tour and going LIV 1 hour from now. But it's a pleasure to welcome back Steve Carney, but we bring him on for the first time, not to talk about the Rays, but to talk Army-Navy. Steve is a Navy veteran. He also co-hosts a podcast weekly about armed services football called Yards and Stripes. Follow the podcast at Yards and Stripes on Twix, Twitter/X. You can follow Steve on Twix at Steve Carney, Carney. Steve, it's David and Mark. First off, thank you for your service. How are you?
I'm good, and this talk about Twix has now made me hungry for candy bars.
So as a Navy man,
yes.
What does this game mean to you?
Well, for me, I've always considered this game quintessential college football. I also think that it is a rivalry that it's far beyond any other rivalry in sports, not just college football, not just sports in America. I'm talking about sports anywhere, because as we are apt to say in the military, it's the one game that's played anywhere around the world where the people on the field are willing to die for the people in the stands.
There's a certain pause you have to make when something like that's said, because it's obviously true. And yet with rivalries, usually you think of hatred. And with this rivalry, I would think mutual respect would be the term that would most come to mind.
Yeah, for about 364 days, 20 hours and 30 minutes, I think you would say. Absolutely, that's you're absolutely right. There is mutual respect on both sides. But for that 3.5 hours at Gillette Stadium this Saturday, it's amazing, because you're gonna have the entire Corps of Cadets, the entire United States Military Academy from West Point is going to be in one corner of the end zone, and then on the opposite corner of Gillette Stadium, we'll have the entire brigade of midshipmen, the entire United States Naval Academy on the other side, and they are going to go after each other for that 3.5 hours.
And when the game is done, both sides will come together and sing the other's fight song, and they will do it. And the goal in this game is to sing second, which Army has done lately after Navy had a huge run. Also, this game has been very low scoring, Steve, lower and lower and lower scoring year after year now for about 16, 17 years. The under hit 16 consecutive years until last year's game went double overtime, and that's the only reason that it went over. And I think the final was like 20-17 or something like that. So do you expect over under 27.5? You've covered these teams all year. Do you think it's going to be that low scoring?
I do think it's going to be low scoring. I don't think it's going to be that low scoring. On yards and stripes, my prediction was kind of strange because my thought is that Quinn Moretzky, the Army kicker, is going to be probably the biggest contributor on either side here on Saturday. My prediction, and I'm going to give it away, even though I do ask people to listen to Yards and Stripes this week, because we went 90 minutes on this game alone. But I predicted that Army wins 15-14 on 5 Quinn Moretzky field goals.
Wait a minute. Is a Navy man allowed to pick to make a prediction where Army wins? I mean, are you like losing your service time here?
No. I know what you're thinking, and I am a Navy veteran, but I also have to be a smart college football and especially a smart service academy football expert. I've already been burned once by Army this year when I predicted that Air Force would beat them, and Army went into Denver, because they played this game at Mile High Stadium, forced 6 turnovers from the Falcons, and beat an undefeated Air Force 23-3.
Yeah, that ended the text I was getting from my brother-in-law, who served at the Air Force Academy and was wondering what bowl game they were going to and had all these aspirations of an undefeated season. That came to a screeching halt. Didn't hear much after that one.
Yeah, it's funny. We had the director, the head of the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl on that week, talking about the possibility that Air Force could get a New Year's Six bowl game. And it turned out that Army not only beat them that week, but we think that Army beat Air Force the next 3 weeks in a row as well, because Air Force finishes 8-4 and is fortunate that they're able to go to the Armed Forces Bowl in Texas.
Well, and both these teams are looking to win to go to bowls, I believe, right?
Nope, neither of these teams are going to a bowl game. They're both 5-6, but all the bowl bits have already been handed out. So neither of them are going to a bowl. The only thing this is their bowl game, and I actually think that this works out better because I think a bowl game for either of these teams would be a complete letdown. Both of these teams want to win this game, especially Army. Army's got all the motivation and extra motivation because if they win this game, they win the Commander-in-Chief Trophy series for the year as well. So if Navy wins, Air Force retains the trophy on the tiebreaker rule because each of these teams will be 1-1 against the other.
He's Steve Carney. The podcast, which is Service Academy football, is called Yards and Stripes. As he said, 90 minutes on everything having to do with this game. Obviously, a lot more than just the X's and O's discussed on this week's podcast. Yards and Stripes. He's Steve Carney. Follow Steve on Twix, Twitter/X at Steve Carney, Carney. Steve, once again, thank you for your service. Enjoy the game. Great job with the podcast. Thanks for making time for us.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
Steve Carney not only covers the Rays, he's actually involved on the Lightning Radio Network also, but Yards and Stripes, the Army-Navy game. Army favored by 3. Army on a roll in this game. They've won, 4 in a row, something like that? 4? No, not in a row. 4 out of 5, I think, because Navy stopped the streak a couple years ago in Jersey.
Foxborough this year.
Yep. I think, don't quote me, Baltimore next year, but it could be wrong. Kind of lost track. I thought we were doing like a Foxborough, Baltimore, DC thing again, and then a long run in Philly. Long.
Do you like them moving the game around?
I do. I know both academies prefer it in Philadelphia. It's damn near equidistant. The city does a great job. But yes, because I think this game should be brought to, I don't know about all corners. Like they had this game out in California one year, but I really do think everybody, if they could experience this game, should.
I think they could doing it in the Rose Bowl would be a terrific idea. And I love what Steve said, that this is their bowl game.
Navy, one of the best teams turnover ratio in the country this year. Army, one of the worst. So with that, Mark, I will make my picks. I went 6-6 last week, 6-4 on college, all the conference championship games, 0-2 on the NFL. And I am going to pull a Carney, the Navy vet, picking Army to win the game. My grandfather and father were in the Army, but I think the turnover ratio continues. I'll be rooting for Army in a big way, but give me Navy in the 3. And the game goes over because of the turnovers. Navy 20, Army 17. So Navy getting 3, and the over-under is 27.5. I'm going over. I don't think the Bucs are a good team. And Godwin and his wife are publicly feuding with Todd Bowles. Give me Atlanta and lay the 2.5 in Atlanta against the Bucs. I think the Falcons take a big step to winning the South and ending the Todd Bowles regime Sunday. Let me get this straight. I can get the Chiefs at home in a virtual pick'em. Yeah, I'll lay the point with the Chiefs, who never lose 2 in a row. Even though, Mark, I don't know if the Bills don't have more talent than the Chiefs. But give me the Chiefs laying 1. And I think Dallas is going to whack Philly. I think Philly's banged up. And Dallas on a roll. There's 2 undefeated teams at home in the NFL, the Cowboys and the Dolphins. I'm going to lay the 3.5 with the Cowboys, who technically, I believe, will move into first place because their division record will be 4-1 and the Eagles will be 3-1, but that'll basically be semantics. The Eagles will end up having the tiebreaker on the Cowboys going forward if they win out and that includes beating the Giants twice, which they'll do.
All right. I did also pick the Army-Navy game. And you and I are going head-to-head, save the juice. I'm taking the under. You know why? Because this game's always an under.
16 out of 17 would have been 17 in a row if the game didn't go overtime last year.
Baltimore's playing an NFC team. It's a big number. But Baltimore destroys teams in the NFC. 7.5's the number. I'll lay it against the Rams.
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm with David. Kansas City doesn't lose 2 in a row. And it's only a point against Buffalo? Give me the Chiefs. Atlanta should have beat Tampa the last time.
They did.
I'm sorry. They did beat him and should have blown him out.
Yeah, that over 400 yards offense. All the turnovers at the goal line kept it a close game.
Tampa's not good. They nearly lost to Carolina. I'm going to take Atlanta to sweep Tampa, which I know is dangerous to do. 2.5's the number. And in a battle of backup quarterbacks, I just think Cincinnati has more weapons than Indianapolis. Another virtual pick 'em. 2 points is the number. Give me the Bengals at home against the Colts.
You are going head-to-head with Minshew Mania?
I am.
Wow. That is brave. Steelers lost, by the way. Good news, because that dropped them from 5 to 8. That was good news for Houston. Your wild cards this morning before they play games are Cleveland, Indy, and Houston. That's right. Today, 3 playoff teams from the NFC North and 3 playoff teams from the AFC South. Unbelievable.
Do you think is there any chance that stays?
Well, yeah.
In the South,
NFC.
I think in both there's a chance.
So we don't think Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Denver, we don't think they're going to rise up. Even the Chargers,
Or
I'll throw
Cincinnati.
them out there.
I said there's a chance. I think if Cincinnati wins this game, it would severely affect Indianapolis's playoff chances.
If Browning plays like that, they will make the playoffs as a 7 seed, I think.
Well, that's the other thing. That Steelers loss really helped the Bengals,
Yes, it did.
who now are 6-6 and with the win. Because Cincinnati's like Buffalo. They don't win tiebreakers against hardly anyone. So they got to finish a game ahead of everybody if they're going to get in. So we're together on the Chiefs -1 and the Falcons -2.5. Mark's going under on Army-Navy. I'm going over. He's taking the Bengals. I'm taking the Cowboys. Sorry, grandfather. I think Army's going to continue to turn it over. I think they're the better team, but they make a lot of mistakes.
Picking against Army.
I don't think I've ever done that before either. Even when they had the long losing streak, I bet them every year.
Every year.
But I will say the turnover factor is the biggest storyline in this game since we've been doing it. And I can't look away from the fact that Navy's top 5 in the country in turnover ratio and Army's in the bottom 20. So
the turnover battle in Army-Navy, will that affect the over-under? That's all I care about.
Cutting to the chase here
That's
on Miller
right.
and Moulton.
Speaking of cutting to the chase, Pat Kirwan to talk all things NFL. That's next. Thanks so much for listening to Miller and Moulton.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hey y'all, it's Ben Allen. When it comes to singing and performing live shows, I'm in my comfort zone. When it comes to wanting to surprise my wife with diamonds, I'm a bit lost. That's why I go see my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. Jason and Todd helped me blow my wife away when we got engaged, and I've been applauding them ever since. If you're in the market for diamonds this holiday season, Southwest Florida has been giving Jason and Todd a standing ovation for over 20 years. Go see them and let Jason and Todd know that Ben Allen sent you.
Thanks, Ben. We're proud of you and your accomplishments and thrilled that you are part of our Diamond District family.
This holiday season, visit Jason and me at the Diamond District. We look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Good morning, Pat.
Good morning, boys. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Very good. So, get ready for football. I love listening to you guys talk about Army Navy.
It is one of David's favorites of the year.
Yep.
If not his favorite.
Well, it is
football. His flight got canceled today. He's scrambling right now.
Oh, God.
He woke up this morning to find out his flight was canceled. So he's now leaving. He's taken off the last hour of the show because he's got to fly out.
Lord, do you want some help?
Oh, I'm good. Right. I can handle an hour. I got Trent.
Whatever you want.
Appreciate
I'm here.
It. Thank you. Everblades made a little. They got their Wednesday game there. That big beer snake made the rounds on Twitter.
The beer snake was made right behind me. And so that whole section's the Florida Gulf Coast hockey team.
Yep.
I love that they sit behind me. I laugh every week the whole time. And they were obsessed with cups. And like it was going on the whole night. And when they got to the snake part, came right down, right past me. And they do it every week, every time there's a Wednesday game that they're at, which is they do it every time.
My kid sent me the tweet of it because he follows Spit and Chicklets, the Barstool hockey podcast. And he sent me the tweet of that. And he's like, see, your Everblades making national. I'm like, oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it was. Childress and I were laughing hysterically. I said, Brad, because it was coming down. I said, don't stand up because if we hit that and it breaks, those guys are going to kick the crap out of us.
Boo.
Oh, yeah.
Mark, me and my buddies, my college buddies, we went to a Lugnuts game one time in Lansing, and we tried to get one of those going. We got it pretty good, and then security shut us down. I mean, we probably had it. It was like 3 feet, so it was nothing crazy, but it was starting to get
that thing at the Everblades game was a
monster.
That was a 30-footer.
It was a python.
It was. It almost took the whole Florida Gulf Coast team to escort it down the stairs. And the cops there, they were cheering. I know those guys.
Yeah,
Gotta let them have fun on the Wednesday
that's
games.
the good spirit. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, interestingly enough, I don't know if you caught this, Mark, but this is right up your alley. So you know how it was always Bud Light, $3 beers?
Right.
So they didn't take Bud Light down. I'm sure contractually they can't. But they added Labatt's for $3.
Oh.
A very nice move by them.
That is.
And just slid right into Labatt's going, oh, thank you very much. I heard about your flight stuff, bro.
Yeah, well, it happens. It doesn't happen often. I got to be honest, but don't know what's going on. Don't know if it was.
What airline are you on? Delta?
It was United. United's direct. Fort Myers, Newark, Jacksonville, Newark. It's funny. I have all my miles on Delta now, though.
Yeah, when I see you at the airport occasionally, you're on Delta all the time.
No. When flying out of Fort Myers, I was always on United. Oh no, you're right. If you saw me on the
You were going
airport,
to
I was
Atlanta.
doing SEC. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was always
Saturday morning.
Yeah. Right. You were going to Newark. I was going to Atlanta.
Yeah. I'm
Okay,
on
here we
the
go.
7 a.m. tomorrow. So sometimes I pray for it to get canceled. But slow and steady.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Third and final hour of Miller and Moulton, at least along the network. The Diamond District bonus hour is 1 hour away. Mark lied to talk about Jon Rahm's decision to leave the PGA Tour and go play for LIV. He'll join us in about 35 minutes' time. But it's time for Pat Kirwan. He of NFL Radio's Moving the Chains, CBS's NFL Today show. Pat joining us once again, courtesy of Pinchers from Tampa to Key West and all points in between Pinchers, because you can't fake fresh. How are you? What'd you think last night?
Well, Pittsburgh, we had a lot of Pittsburgh callers yesterday guaranteeing the win and actually looking past the game. Come on, New England. What are you talking about? They're terrible. I kept saying, you just lost to Arizona. You should be humble. And now they've been humbled. And they're blowing it up. And, I heard you before when I was waiting to go on. It is a great day for the Houston Texans. Yeah. And it might not be a great day for the Jacksonville Jaguars because now Houston's getting in position here. They got to go out and win. But, yeah, it's I think Pittsburgh, who I have great respect for them, but they don't look like they can figure it out, and they can't run the ball. They ran the ball for 2 yards a carry with Najee and Warren, so they can't do it, and they're really asking Trubisky to do more than he can do. And meanwhile, I really want to tip my hat to Zeke Elliott because remember when no one wanted him? And I remember Gil Brandt, God rest his soul, called Bill Belichick and said, this is a few days before he passed away, hey, Zeke will help you. You need to sign him. And he's a good guy. And I remember Gil telling me that. And then he signed him. And we all thought it was a favor to Gil. But that's not how Belichick saw it. And when you look at what he did last night, the guy accounted for 140 yards offense. And he knocked TJ Watt, to another place. His blocking is still great. His running was great. And he caught the ball and scored a touchdown. Zeke Elliott, and the whole time I'm thinking, I know Dallas has got a big game. They still need Zeke, and they don't have him.
And New England relied on him, as you mentioned last night. They get the win 21-18. Why can't Pittsburgh run the ball? We thought they got rid of 2 linemen at the end of camp because they had too many offensive linemen, Pat.
Yeah.
And we thought their offensive line was really solid this year. Why the hell is it Najee? Is it the line? Why can't they run the football?
Well, I think it's 2 things. And Najee's running into darkness quite a bit. And for 1 week, the first week after they fired the coordinator, they really set up the run with the tight end inside passing game and put the linebackers in a conflict. But they went right back and they tried to force the run, and the linebackers just stuffing it. Najee Harris, here's the reality of this guy. This is not new. This is old. This has been going on. They are 8-12 when Najee Harris doesn't have 100 yards rushing. And last night was another one of those. He has not been the dynamic back they thought he was going to be. And he looks like one of those, if he wasn't a first-round pick, if he was a 5th-round pick, they'd be replacing him.
Well, Pat, And I know he was injured and didn't play last night, but isn't that really the dilemma for the Steelers? They went and drafted a running back in the first round and a quarterback in the first round, 2 of the last 3 years. And they don't know if those guys who were supposed to be studs are studs.
I think they know the running back isn't. I think the book is still out on the quarterback, and it doesn't look great for him. But I would say they have not decided. I think in the Najee case, they know. Because Warren's better. And
Yes.
boy, if you say that to a Steeler fan, they get furious. They want to believe in Najee Harris, and it's time not to.
Najee waits for holes to open. Warren hits them.
Yeah, exactly. And Najee, you know what I'd say? You're not Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon used to stop and start all the time, but he had a burst when he started up again. Najee runs into the back of his block. He's not a dynamic player, and they don't use him as a receiver enough for me to worry about his receiving skills.
Are the Steelers a 7-6 roster, or for the first time in his Hall of Fame career, is some of this coaching, whether it's Tomlin, whether it's the people he hired, this is going to be a first-year GM who's going to have to do some amazing soul searching in the next 4 weeks, Pat. Did they just, like me, overestimate and value their roster? Because I thought they were a very good team. Very good team. An 11-plus win team this year. And, Pat, they're going to struggle just to keep his winning streak record alive.
They are. The head coach isn't going anywhere. That's for
I know that.
Well, will he make changes at coordinator spots? Probably. They've done that. Coward did plenty of that. He moved out of coordinators quickly. Kevin Gilbride, Ray Sherman, one after another. So that might be the case. Look, I thought the roster, first of all, I picked them as a wild card. So you're not alone in having some feeling for them. Number two, they were a wild card right up to last night. They were. And this is a team that beat Baltimore, with defense. We get it. Force fumble, etc. But I don't know now with the way they're beat up and what's going on with Najee Harris and the offensive line. They probably don't deserve to be in the playoffs. Now the question becomes, well, who does? I think Houston does deserve to be in it, the way they're playing in the young quarterback. They have a dynamic quarterback. Cleveland, I think, is just going to get in by default. And I don't know. I'm kind of cheering for Cincinnati to make a little run here and see if they could become dangerous. But we said this Tuesday, all these teams with backup quarterbacks trying to make and stay in the playoff race. It's brutally hard.
It really is. And, Pat, you and I and David have talked about this for 10 years, about the importance of a backup quarterback. It's never been more apparent than this year. And maybe this week, when you look at some of these games, Jacksonville and Cleveland, Indianapolis and Cincinnati, backups that are playing huge roles in playoff games. And talk to me about Indianapolis and Cincinnati. Indianapolis plays entertaining, high-scoring games. It'll be, to me, interesting to see what Browning can do after that great performance on Monday night.
Yeah, and I applaud him and that they got him that prepared, et cetera. But Indianapolis, Minshew has been out on the field. What is he, 5-3 now? So he's been out there all year, and he made a big play last week to win a game at the end. I had Steichen on the show this way, the head coach, and it was great listening to him because I said, we got to spend time on Minshew. And he just said, you might look at him and think this is just a kid that fools around. He said he's dead serious. He prepares real hard. I'm very confident in the plays I call with him. I don't think he said it this way, but I know what he meant. He's got more offense with him than he had with Richardson.
Absolutely.
And he has a playbook that's 100 pages long, not 3 pages long. So he's expanded a lot of the things they do. I also spent time with Franklin the other day, and there's a run and hit maniac. This is a cult signature. If you go back to all of their defenses, Dwight Freeney and all the Mathis, they were fast run and hit guys, and they got that now. So they play a little defense, and they throw the ball to Pittman. He doesn't get in the end zone a lot, but man, is he second or third in the league in targets? So they got a go-to receiver, a quarterback that's not afraid of anything. And as soon as he loses, we'll all say, that's him. That's the backup. We don't give those kind of guys really the recognition he deserves. I think, personally, I think Indianapolis got enough to beat him.
Bucks desperately need to go into Atlanta and win. Difficult to imagine they lose, getting swept by the Falcons. They wouldn't know the tiebreaker at Atlanta to be 2 games ahead of them with only a few to play. I think, and I think Mark agrees with me, Pat, that this is probably the Todd Bowles regime on the line here Sunday. Fair or not, I think he's got to win, and they have to contend to the end for him to keep going.
I agree with that. I think we're going to see a lot more firings than we thought, and this is certainly a situation. I don't like Tampa Bay at all in this game. And part of it is I am influenced. I talk to Arthur Smith every week. I talked to him yesterday. He's excited about his run game. This is what he's building. He was building his Tennessee Titan offense, and now he's got a more dynamic back than even Derrick Henry. He's not as powerful as Henry, but he can play slot receiver. He can play X. He can play the running back spot. They're starting to feed him the ball more and more. They were slow early, but now look at the last 3 weeks. The 63 touches in the last 3 weeks for Bijan Robinson. So I like Atlanta in this game, and I like their defense. I thought the defense would fall apart when they lost Grady, but they haven't. And part of it is that kid, Arnold Ebegete, that kid, he's now starting to sack people like crazy, and he's explosive off the edge. We're going to do a feature with him on Sunday.
When you look at Jags Browns, is it just too much to play that defense with a backup quarterback for Jacksonville?
I think Jacksonville's quarterback thing is scary right now. They can show you Trevor out on the field throwing a ball and everything else and taking mild drops. But again, I go with Dr. Chow. If this is really a high ankle sprain, which it is, his mobility, and if he plays because he's got guts, he is a tough guy. Watch out. The mobility is not there, and this is a bad defense to be unable to move around with Miles.
Would you play him?
No. I look at him and I see 15 years, not 1 game.
I don't think he can protect himself. I don't think you can put a guy out there who can't protect himself.
No, and I think the coach who was a quarterback wouldn't do it. And the backup's hurt, and the next guy's a Canadian League kid. They're in a little trouble.
Well, and also they're going to play a 3rd-string left tackle this week, it looks like. By the way, interesting spot for the Jags. If they lose, they fall to 8-5, and then they got to host the Ravens. We don't know if Trevor's back for that one either. This could be a 3-game losing streak in 8-6. Now, after that, Mark, they got Tampa, Carolina, Tennessee.
Yeah, the storm is now. Yeah. And I'd be thinking about, if I win those 3, I'd probably close out the division. So I'd make sure he's ready to go for that final run.
The 2 big spreads this week, and we got about 45 seconds. Niners 11 over Seattle, Dolphins 13 over Tennessee. Do you think either Seattle or Tennessee's got something for those 2 teams?
No. Seattle, and as I love those guys, but they're not ready, and they don't have a running game. Walker may play. I talked to Pete Tuesday. He's really being careful with him, hoping to get him to the game, but he's got the oblique, and it's an issue. And if you can't run the ball against these guys and kind of slow that offense down, Pete wants to run the ball. We all know that. And I don't think he can right now. And when you look at Purdy, he's never lost to Seattle, 3-0, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception, and they can't get him. 1 every 29 is a sack. They haven't been able to get to him and disturb him, which means the ball's going to get in the hands of McCaffrey and Debo and all the other guys, and they will find a matchup that Seattle can't handle. I like San Francisco, and I hate to say it, but I'd give the points.
So we got Bills, Chiefs, Eagles, Cowboys amongst the games that we will talk to Pat Kirwan with next. Mark Lai in 25 minutes here on Miller and Moulton.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Florida.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Y'all packed up, David?
That's what I'm doing now. I think so. I think I just have to do the equipment. So is Teddy Bear Toss tomorrow night, right?
Tomorrow night.
Yeah, so you missed that, right?
Yeah. I told my wife, throw hard. She's the kind that can throw and hit it right in the glass and knock the people in the first row out. Yeah. Her brother, he's pretty excited about it, but oh, hey Mark, you want to go to the game tonight?
I don't think so, but thank you.
If you change your mind, let me know.
I will.
I'm going with Childress.
Oh, you're going?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going, and so is Brad. Brad's turned into, I've made him more of a Blades fan than most.
That's fantastic.
We were winning 3-1 in the third and lost the game. You should have seen it. And the snake was coming by at the same time.
Oh, they blew a 3-1 lead?
Yeah. Which I don't see that very often. But they played their backup goalie. It's amazing how furious people get when they don't play Johnson. You can't play these goalies every game, can you?
No. No.
So, do you know the North Jersey Catholic League at all, David, from your days in school?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I told you Brady, my guy, is not only on that travel team, he's on the CBA, the Christian Brothers Academy.
Yeah.
So he's starting on the varsity as a freshman.
Wow.
They play Don Bosco tonight, and they apparently they're talking about 5,000 people at the game. I go, you got to be kidding me. So the coach, I said to me, no, he goes, this is going to be a mob scene. So he's never played, you don't play in front of anybody when you play these travel teams.
No.
Eight parents.
Right. It's when I was in high school, it's why a bunch of the travel kids came. The hockey wasn't as good, but they came and played high school hockey because there was this strange phenomenon, people in the stands.
Yeah, this is going to be his first. They played 3 games, but they were, 100, 200, stuff like that. He said this thing with Don Bosco is crazy. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
You brought up an old wound, Pat. Senior year of high school, our football team undefeated. All right. And Don Bosco Prep was the #1 team in the state all year, and they never lost. All right. And so we beat 6 teams ranked in the top 15, and they only put us second. Final Star Ledger Poll of the Year, Don Bosco Prep awarded state championship. J.P. Stevens second. And we're a public school and they're a private school, and we all year kept beating top 15 teams and then challenging them when the season was over. Let's play for the state title. A public, private, let's do it. Money for charity, the whole deal. Okay, never happened.
Cowards.
When I was a high school coach in the 70s and 80s, we had it. It was the Daily News, Catholic versus public for the state thing. We won it a couple times, but it was like a big deal.
Yep, totally.
And it was.
People liked the idea. I mean, obviously,
they loved it.
You know, but if you think about a public school against a private school, they're never going to play. So let's have them play.
Yeah. So my brother, who went to St. Anthony's like I did and went on to play at Illinois, went back to Chicago and was a high school coach at Hinsdale South. And they got to the state final and they had to play the Catholic school, which was where Donovan McNabb went, whatever that one was.
Okay.
And so he's walking out on the field with his staff, all public school guys that never were in a Catholic school. And my brother Jimmy turned and said, "It's going to be hard to beat these fucking guys." And Henry goes, "Why?" He goes, "Because God's playing with them." He goes, "That's what we believed when I was in high school. And I promise you, every guy at that school, Mount Carmel," he goes, "every guy at Mount Carmel knows God is playing with them."
We used to hold up signs that said Jesus loves us for free.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. You know the story.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Mark Lai in a little more than 15 minutes time to talk about John Rahm's big move yesterday away from the PGA Tour and on to LIV. Our remaining moments with Pat Kirwan. He of NFL Radio's Moving the Chains, 3 to 7 weekdays, 2 to 5 on Saturdays during the season. And part of CBS's NFL Today show on Sundays. Pat joining us courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, all points in between Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh.
Well, the Bills and the Chiefs, Pat. We've talked about the Chiefs coming off of a loss many times. I know you probably have the numbers to back it up here. This seems like a tough spot for Buffalo, but Vegas doesn't think so because it's just a 1-point spread.
Yeah, I've gone back and forth on this game. If you're getting prepared for the best games of the week, you got to spend a lot of time on this game. And it's easy to just say, well, you know, Mahomes 24-6 at home in his last 30 games. He's won a lot of big games. But of those 6 losses, a couple of them were Buffalo. And that has to be counted in here. I am taking Buffalo in this game. And I'm taking it because Josh Allen is going to do what his coaches hate that he does. And that's take off and run, play a wild, reckless game, go back and look at how many he's 2-3 versus Kansas City. They've already had to go to Kansas City 4 times. So he's not unaccustomed to playing there. What does he do when he plays these guys? How about this in 5 games? 49 rushes for 289 yards, 6 yards a carry. That's who he is. That's what he's going to run the ball 10 to 12 times in this game. And I'm taking them because they got to have it. Their season is a disaster. And I would think they're going to go in there, and it's not going to be easy. They didn't say that. But they're also protecting him a little better. 3 sacks in his last 150 throws. That's 1 sack every 50. Now, if they can just keep it down to 2 sacks on this guy and let him take off and do the things he does, because when they're desperate like this, you got to take all the rules and throw them out. No more saying, hey, be careful, Josh. I think Josh takes off and has a big day, and they win the game by a field goal.
And you're right. Buffalo desperately needs it. They're 6-6, and virtually all the tiebreakers do not work in their favor. All right. 3 big boys in the NFC. We'll see if Detroit can join them at some point, but here are 2 of them. Philly at Dallas, the only game that Dallas has lost here in the last seemingly 2 months. A close one at Philly. What are your thoughts?
I like Dallas, and I'll tell you why. I like Dak at home against Philadelphia. He's 5-1 there. He's thrown 12 touchdown passes. And if you really study Philly, and I have, and I know you guys have, they have real problems with passing teams. They're not able to get there the way they could in the past. So they're struggling. And then you look at Dallas's scoring production. The last 4 weeks, they're averaging 42 points a game. Yes, some of the teams they've played are weak. But Philadelphia, to me, they've been crying all year. Oh, we're not really perfect yet. We're not great yet. They have some issues. It's gonna be a great game, back and forth scoring. But when I watch Jalen Hurts, he doesn't look 100% to me. And I think they will always need him to be the dynamic runner somewhere in the fourth quarter to win games. What happened last week? It didn't come in the fourth quarter. Unfortunately for Philly, it came early in the third quarter where he had to take over because the game was slipping away from them and he couldn't do it. I'll take Dallas.
If Philly wins it, how do they, and I don't know if it's slow it down is the right phrase, Pat, but to me, you've got to try to keep Dak off the field. So is this more Jalen running the ball? If you're Philly, how do you win the game, if you know what I'm saying, Pat?
I am not a guy who adheres to the philosophy of let's keep the other team off the field. Everyone loves to say that when there's a dynamic offense on the other side, but doing it is impossible. And what are you going to do? Run the ball 1, 2, 3, first, second, third down, and try to spill the clock? And I know Parcells used to do it, but I don't think they can do that. And I think they're going to have to play because Dak is going to score enough to keep forcing them to take passing risks, which they're going to be good at. Philly's a good football team. I just don't think they're at 100% right now. And I think going out there to play Dak, where at home they're 6-0. Yes, Philly's 5-1 on the road. I think the game is a great game. And I think there can be lead changes 3 or 4 times, but I think Dallas can keep coming back. And CeeDee Lamb, whoa, that guy, he might be the best receiver in the league.
Well, and I'm surprised he's continued to put up the numbers because I think the difference between CD and the rest of the receivers is huge. I don't know why he's not getting, double team treatment on every play unless him and Dak are just overcoming everything. But I'd be all over CD Lamb and forcing Dak to go elsewhere. Goddard is going to play for the Eagles coming back from that forearm injury. All right, Pat, we've got teams who weren't that good that long ago, who are now in playoff position, road favorites. Green Bay at the Giants, okay? Detroit at Chicago. Houston at the Jets. Can these teams get it done when they're expected to get it done on the road?
No, I think, playing the Giants, I have great expectations for victory there. Sorry about that, David.
No, not with you. I can't believe they won their last 2 games. They're awful.
Yeah, and there's 8 teams, I believe, that are 6-6, right? So there's the world. I think there's 8 of them. If my count was right the first time I looked at that, 8 of them. And so they're all on the bubble. And to go to 6-7 this late in the season is a disaster. So I think the 6-6 teams, Green Bay is going to win, Minnesota's going to win, Denver's going to win, Atlanta's going to win. Rams are not going to win. Seattle's not going to win. And I don't think Cincinnati's going to win. But I did take Buffalo. So what did I take out of all those 6-6 teams? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of the 8 I'm taking to win.
Denver, by the way, Mark, an underdog in L.A. against your beloved Chargers.
Yeah, that's, at some point, the Chargers will do what they do. And Denver, I thought they were going to win last week. Pat, that's just inconsistency with these teams. I mean, that's just what we're dealing with week to week. We don't know what to expect out of most of these teams.
That's what 6-6 is all about, right, Mark?
Yes.
They prove they can drive you crazy, and they prove that you can't trust them. But then I look at the ones that are the 8 teams and say, now which guys do I have the arrow pointing up that I think they have enough to do something?
Okay, Houston's at the Jets. The weather's not going to be good. It's supposed to be a rainstorm in the afternoon. Now, maybe it doesn't get there in time because it's a 1 o'clock kickoff. But do you think if forced to play in a bad weather game, this young dome team, which is more pass than run, can get it done against that Jets defense?
Yes, I do. And I'll tell you a couple of reasons why. One's named Wilson, and we have no idea what he's going to do in a positive sense. But mostly it's the defense is wearing down. How many points have they given up in the last 2 weeks? Because if you look at that, you start realizing this is not the defense early in the year that dominated opponents. they gave up too many points in the last 2 weeks, and they're starting to wear down. Because when you live in a world where your offense is 3 and out all the time, and you're back on the field without recovery time on the sideline, you just start getting beat up. And I don't think the Jets have enough right now. And look, Stroud, to me, he played at Ohio State. He might like the air conditioning in Houston right now, but he's played outside before. And here's what I found out about pro football. You know the teams that are in the North, like Buffalo and the Jets, and everyone thinks they're good in the cold? The players I was with hated the cold, and the Buffalo guys hated the cold. So I don't even factor it in anymore. I think Houston will come in here and do enough to win.
He's Pat Kirwan. NFL Radio's moving the chain. CBS Sports, the NFL Today show, and Pat joins us twice every week, courtesy of Pinchers, with locations from Tampa to Key West. Pinchers, where you cannot fake fresh. Pat, enjoy the games this weekend. As always, we appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Last thing I'll say to you, backup quarterbacks this year, 24 and 45. Be careful which ones you like.
I got a feeling about the Bears. They won 2 of their last 3, and they should have won that game in Detroit. Detroit and Chicago. Lions defense has been leaking oil a little bit. I think that one could be interesting.
Yeah.
Miller and Moulton. Mark Lai to talk John Rahm's big decision next.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Is it just Gary here, or are you guys going to squeeze in some more NFL picks before David leaves?
No, we're just Mark Lai, you mean?
Or Mark, yeah. What am I thinking? Gary Danielson. Wrong.
We could talk to Gary about live golf.
Yes, we could. He's getting ready for Army Navy. Gary, your thoughts on John Rahm? Listen, he watches as much golf as people on the Golf Channel.
It is amazing if you're a golf watcher that you just watch all of it. I mean, the pro at our course talking about Tiger at the thing, and I'm like, I didn't watch a shot. I don't care about the Hero World Challenge. I don't care about the father-son.
Do you watch the Rocket Mortgage? Because it's in Detroit?
Not really. I'll watch a little Sunday when it's on. I watched a couple years when Finau won. I watched that because I like him.
What's your favorite major outside the Masters?
The British, because it's on really early in the morning.
Yeah, that's true.
No, probably the U.S. Open because I like the carnage. I like watching these guys struggle.
Yeah, and for me, it's definitely the Open Championship.
The Open.
Because I'm not a huge fan of the carnage.
Now, I like the Open when we get wind and rain and they got to play the elements. I think that's fun.
I just like seeing the shots we don't normally see.
Yes. They dialed back the ball.
I know, and boy, are they honked. Man, the tour pros are PO'd. You know, Adam, I think Pebble is dangerously close to being too easy. If the wind doesn't blow at Pebble, that's the St. Jude Classic. I'm telling you, they can narrow those fairways. Think about the last time. I mean, what's his face? Gary Woodland won it. He was like 14 under, and they made those fairways runways, and
they're half of what they normally are. That's how thin they get those fairways. I played there when they were setting up for the Open, and the caddy says, "See these lines? That's where they're going to cut the." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah, Adam, that course is short for these guys, and they're landlocked, so they cannot make that course longer. That course is short.
Yeah, there's nowhere to go to make any holes longer there.
Now it's a links course, so if the weather arrives, it's hell. But it's Pebble Beach now is basically St. Andrews. St. Andrews is too easy if the wind doesn't show up also for these guys.
David, I'll just let you know, it's maybe the best birthday day we've had in a long time, and you're not going to be here for it.
Damn.
Just the deads. Sammy Davis Jr., Ferdy Pacheco, Jim Morrison, Sam Kinnis, and Sinead O'Connor. Flip Wilson.
Oh, my goodness. Flip Wilson was funny. Funny.
Mark's ready to go, by the way. Just letting you know. Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the top of the hour. The Diamond District bonus hour awaits for the 239 at the top of the hour. Final segment along the network of not just today, but of the week. And we end it on a high note. Mark Lai, one of our favorites, longtime PGA Tour player and commentator. You can follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at Let It Fly. And that's fly spelled like his last name, Flye. Mark, it's David and Mark. How you been?
I've been really good, man. I love this time of year. My son's going to be coming back from college in a few days. Daughter's playing golf like crazy. So I'm just a pig in slop right now, just loving everything. And the cool weather down here in Naples has been fantastic.
Pretty good time to play golf around here these days, Mark. There's no doubt about that. John Rahm's going to play golf somewhere else.
Yeah. I love it, and I've been calling this for a long time, and I'm not just saying that I'm a soothsayer or, a wizard or anything can predict the future. But you know something? I've always felt like this LIV is growing the game to places that, we've never thought about going, or we've thought about it and tried it and failed. The perfect example is the worldwide schedule that LIV has, which is pretty USA-centric, I would say, but it's going to some other places that truly are growing the game. And I've used Adelaide as a great example. Adelaide, Australia, South Australia, it's not even one of the, it's a fairly large place, but that has turned into, I guess, a mega successful event after just 1 year. So when I look at Rahm and his statements after joining LIV, he says, I'm in the history of golf. And yeah, I had said before that, I wanted to collect titles. He says, but basically I want to grow the game. And he quoted Seve Ballesteros. And Seve Ballesteros was a worldwide player, and didn't like being, included in American golf that much because he was a European, but he played all over the world and he grew the golf in Spain. And that's why the Sergios, and that's why the Rahms and the mechanic, Jimenez, all of these guys from Spain are kind of, now they're going to have their own team, I think. I don't know what they're going to call them over there at LIV, but look, I think that's what Greg Norman had really been missing in American golf. He said, they said they were going to grow the game, but they've only been growing it in America. And every once in a while we go to Mexico, or, we might go to Japan one time. But now we're going truly around the world. And I think Rahm just wants to be a part of it.
I'm trying to read between the lines with what Rahm said yesterday. It sounds like Rahm is longing for the day, and that he thinks his move to LIV may shove that day a lot closer, where what Phil talked about when he left. Why can't we all just play wherever we want, whenever we want? And if we play 10, 12, 15 times on the PGA Tour, 6 times on DP World Tour, 8 times over here, wherever we want to go, whatever we want to do. We're independent contractors, we're golfers. Just let us play.
Because it takes away the tour's monopoly. The PGA Tour's monopoly money is out the window. And that's what they did. When players got over here from overseas, the minute they had to sign the agreement, they basically sold out. They don't want to play. Cameron Smith, a worldwide player, he wanted to be exactly what you said, Dave. He wanted to be able to play in wherever, South Africa, China, Japan, Europe. And when you come over and you sign a deal with the PGA Tour, you basically have to go by their rules. And their rules say, you got to get permission from me, little boy, before you go anywhere. And I think these guys now, like Rahm, you're going to tell Rahm that? You're going to tell Brooks Koepka that? You're going to tell Cameron Smith? No, they got tired of it. And that's, that was my whole complaint. When I played the tour for 18 years, I basically had to go in and kiss the ring of Dean Beeman and Tim Fincham. And I like Tim Fincham, and I don't know Jay very well. But look, Jay's the wrong guy. Jay is just, he had to go to he had to go to a mental coach there for a while, for about a month. Look, you're in the game with these big boys, okay? You can't be that kind of guy who's going to fold like Jay did. And now, look, I have the benefit of just being in Ponte Vedra. I played in an outing that I play in every year, okay? It's called the Monique Burr Foundation in Palencia. And all the PGA Tour people are there. And, I got up on the stage and I was a counterpoint. Mark McCumber was the PGA Tour guy and I was the LIV guy, just to have a little bit of fire in the crowd. Well, let me tell you something. It was a quiet room when Mark McCumber was talking, okay? And I love Mark, Players Champion, all this stuff. When I was talking, I said, look, I don't blame any of these guys for nothing. I said, would any of you not go to this if you were offered this? And everyone, basically, they started laughing, And I said, yeah, you'd all go for it. And especially when, some of these guys like Koepka and all these former great players on the PGA Tour that are still winning major championships like Brooks Koepka. Now you've got Rahm, and I kept saying, Rahm is done. He's, this is Sunday night. And they said, well, he hasn't signed the deal yet. I said, guys, you can just take it to the bank. Okay, he's in. Oh, well, that hasn't been. I said, okay, just keep hiding behind that, guys. It's not going to happen, right? Okay, fine. I get it. But it's amazing, Dave and Mark, because the guys that are standing behind the tour, that shield is getting to be more like tin every day. They thought they had an iron shield and they were going to stay behind the protection of the PGA Tour. Now I see that the PGA Tour is eating its own young. And the players that I saw there, who I will not name, that were playing in this Jingle Bells Classic, they were silent because they said, well, Mark, we've got a big meeting coming up this week. And guess who ain't invited? Jay Monahan. So there's going to be something major going on. I don't know how Jay keeps his job because he has fumbled this ball, worse than I think the BCS did when they stuck out Florida State to dry.
All right. Well, there's this merger. There's this constant talk that there was supposed to be a merger by the end of the year.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
Yeah, I guess. Well, something. LIV doesn't need the merger. PGA Tour is the one that needs the merger. They can't even get their indoor golf league fired up. I mean, look what LIV has done in a short 3 years. Has it been 3 seasons now?
No, they've only played 2.
Yeah, it's only been 2 seasons, and they're going all around the world. They're doing these great things, great crowds, all this stuff, and the PGA Tour can't even get its pro golf league off the ground. I mean, so look, I don't know, who's making decisions there at PGA Tour, whether it's Jay, whether it's his board, but I know it ain't the players, and because they're feeling like they've been sold a bill of goods that is absolutely no good. And, guys like Scotty Scheffler, I heard that he had said, and I hope he didn't say this, David, Mark, he said, Rahm decided to join another tour because he wanted to be the best player in the world. If he's on our tour, that ain't going to happen. That's total baloney. I think it's sour grapes. And I hope to God he didn't say that, but people are saying that he did, in fact, say that. But when are these guys going to realize that they've been lied to? Rory's been lied to.
Oh, no, Mark, I think they've realized it. Okay. I mean, clearly Rory took himself off the policy board. Rory doesn't want to talk about this. Rory didn't have a bad word to say about Jon Rahm. I think Rory knows he got duped. I do. We got about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
The future of the PGA Tour, Mark, it seems like they need money. Whether it's they do the deal with the Saudis or whether they do the deal with, an American firm, it sounds like they feel they don't have the money to compete worldwide, and they're going to need an investor.
They do. You know why? Because they got fat. They got fat. They built this whole thing. They got this whole structure that they created. They're not working lean, boys. They're not. They're a big old fat cog that can't do business anymore. All right? So now they've got to get lean. What did they just build, a $65 million facility or something like that? Some sort of a pyramid, I think, to the great Dean Beeman. I don't know. Look, they've got a big bunch of mouths to feed, and they've got to downsize, and they've got to find something else. But it's all their own doing, guys. They could have worked this out, but they felt like they were the 5,000-pound gorilla and that everybody had to go through them. Well, guess what? It's kind of like when you go into a golf club here in Naples. You thought you were old and you thought you were rich. When you walk into the locker room, you found out you were neither. Because everyone walking down that corridor has got more money than you, and they're older than you. All right? So there it is, right there.
He's Mark Lye, Let It Fly, FLYE on Twix. He's entertaining. In all seriousness, though, you, even though you won on tour, all right, you were somebody who, played nearly 20 years, but you were somewhere between, 50 and 125 on the money list.
Correct.
It seems as if there is a revolt coming from the Mark Lyes that are on the tour right now, that they're going, yeah, you're making sure Tiger and Rory and Scheffler get all their money, but you ain't taking care of us. You're not even interested in us anymore.
Well, that's the truth. I saw the new points list for the elevated events versus the secondary and tertiary events, and it's a freaking joke. They're scheduling these elevated events, and they're giving them on par points, very close to major championships. That's just not right. And then they're giving the other events, the non-elevated events, peanuts for points. So if you're, say, Lanto Griffin or something like that, and you're in that 55 to 125 group, you've got to have one hell of a year. There's going to be very little turnover between the elevated players and the non-elevated players that get to play in these huge events, while the other tour players, of which there are more of, get the crumbs that are left on the ground in the Lone Star Steakhouse. You know how they open the peanuts and throw the rest on the ground? That's what they're getting. Exactly what they're getting.
Your analogies and your lines today were really good. You brought it today, my friend.
Oh, thanks a lot. I'm pretty fired up. I told you I'm a happy man these days.
Well, listen, all right. We think you're raising two new tour players, one on one tour, one on the other. But enjoy your holidays. If we don't talk between now and then, be safe, be well. We will be talking soon. You know that.
Call anytime, guys. Always a pleasure.
Mark Lye, nearly 20 years playing PGA Tour golf, over 20 years commentating on PGA Tour golf.
I just wish he had an opinion.
There's no doubt.
Just so vanilla when he comes on the show.
Yep. He thought this would work, though. He still is a PGA Tour member. He has not renounced his membership in the tour, still paying his dues. Okay, but he has said that it needed to change. He likes Greg. He likes Phil. He's friendly with him, but he has just thought philosophically, you want to yell at me for the money, that's fine. But philosophically, I agree with what these guys are selling. And he has said that to us for years.
Yeah, he has been pro-live from day one, pro-independent contractor for the golfer, and also feels for the guy that you taught, the guy that's 50 through 125 or through 150.
Yeah,
for that matter.
Mark Lye. Feels for Mark Lye. So, be interesting to see, because it does not look as if they're going to strike a deal with PIF here. It looks like they're going to have to go American, financial corporation here to get their money. And by the way,
really squeezed their sponsors. They have come these elevated events and getting more money. That, as David mentioned earlier in the show, with the charities the sponsors are paying them, but that's who's paying for all these purses. It's not like the PGA Tour went to their coffers and said, "Hey, here's more money." They went to all their sponsors and charged more for the elevated events, charged more for the regular tour events, because they've been desperately trying to get money on this tour.
Very interesting place that the PGA Tour is at. And I do think there is a revolt going on from the players towards Monahan and the rest of the board. For those along the network, thanks for listening today and throughout the week. Have a great weekend. The Diamond District Bonus Hour is next.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do, and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail
The
East.
law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. We'll make this easy. We'll go through the NFL games here and pick them. You can be David.
Big shoes to fill. Sounds good.
First time I think the Troopers ever that Eddie from Iron Maiden has ever made an appearance on this show. I'm very impressed.
Have you noticed the significance of the shirt? It's a Barstool shirt. It's Iron Maiden.
Oh, look at that.
It's Dan Campbell.
Look at that. I didn't even realize that until now.
I wear it as an Iron Maiden shirt.
That's fantastic.
There's a decapitated Viking.
Oh,
a dead bear, and
all right.
Aaron Rodgers is also dead on this.
I
in a
like
Packers
it.
jersey.
I was so impressed with you with an Iron Maiden t-shirt on.
Yeah, I do have an Iron Maiden.
I was going to say because I've seen the crew shirt, so I didn't think it was a stretch.
Yeah, I do have an Iron Maiden shirt. But when they did this little collab, it was
"Run to the Hills" is one of my all-time favorite songs.
Great opening riff, iconic. My dad really likes their Wasted Years. That's
yes,
fun. Yeah,
that was our era. That was a big late '80s Maiden tune.
Oh yeah. It'll probably take me a second to get the third hour up just because.
Yep.
I'll do it on the break.
No worries. Oh, yeah, Deadstroke. Trent's dad's listening. He's following me on Twitter now.
Congratulations. My dad, who follows probably 10 people, follows you. There you go.
I got to follow him back just so I can see his lion retweets.
Yeah, that's all it is. Okay, here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the bonus hour. Miller and Moulton, thanks so much for listening. We do this for you locally, courtesy of Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. Make sure, if you're looking to make that holiday purchase, that the Diamond District is on your Christmas list. Todd and Jason doing a great job. Over 20 years in business. No one has better prices. No one has better service. And, well, you can even talk sports in there a little bit with Jason and Todd. So make sure you tell them Miller and Moulton sent you when you stop by the Diamond District this Christmas season. David had a flight canceled. David woke up in a sheer panic this morning. He got on the air, and I thought, I literally
something
thought
was seriously wrong.
I did too. He said, guys, and he
sounded nervous,
upset, a little sick.
Yeah.
And he's like, my flight got canceled. I'm like, okay. I thought he was missing the whole show. And I'm like, I thought he's like, hey, I got to go, and I got to go at 7:00. All right, you got to do what you got to do. But David had a flight canceled, so he has to jump a flight to Army Navy a little earlier than expected. So it'll be Trent and I for the 9:00 hour this morning. The text line is open. It's been open, although I've not really checked it much at 21,000. If you want to chime in on anything purely, especially what Mark Lai had to say, just tearing down the PGA Tour with an electric segment. If you missed it and missed any part of the show, you can always go to where you download your podcast. That third hour will be up shortly. And Mark Lai and Pat Kirwan, solid hour on the show. Patriots last night getting it done because that's what they do when they play Pittsburgh. 21-18 the final. Zappy with 3 touchdown throws. Trubisky was a hot mess for most of the game. A little bit of a comeback. Too much, too little, too late. But Pittsburgh dominated in the first half last night by New England. Their second straight loss to bad football teams. And Pittsburgh certainly doesn't look like a team that's going to make the playoffs right now.
Mark, do you get a sense that both of those teams, in a way, were spoiled with such good quarterback play for so long, and now that they don't have it, they're on their heels a little too much, a little too often, because they're kind of in shock after 20 years.
Well, two different situations, because the Patriots thought they had someone in Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Then they bench him. So they've moved on. They've already said Mac Jones isn't our guy. They've got to take a quarterback in the draft.
Pick on him. Yeah.
Pittsburgh with Pickett, we don't know yet. He's injured, didn't play last night. But what I've seen, and I watch a lot of Pittsburgh Steelers football. My wife's a Pittsburgh native, as everybody knows, if you listen to the show. So we're forced to watch a lot of Steeler football. I don't know. I don't think Pickett's the guy.
I don't either. And it has nothing to do with all the cliches, the hand size and all that. It's eye test. I mean, he struggles to beat teams that are on par with the Steelers or lower. So that's they're about to be in year 3 with him, and he's had a fair shake. It ain't like it's a very stable organization. I know the Matt Canada thing was weird, but they've given him more than a fair look, I think. And I agree with you, Mark. I don't see it.
And Trubisky's just a hot mess. That was tough that first half was just tough to watch.
You knew that was coming to an extent. So in fairness to him, I mean, he's a backup in the league for a reason, but
he was the second overall pick.
I think Pat Kirwan, that's true.
He was the second overall pick
ahead of Pat Mahomes.
Right.
But Pat Kirwan, I think, hit the nail on the head when the Steelers just can't get a push. Najee Harris. I mean, this Warren kid, I think he has a little more zip.
I'm with you. I think he hits holes harder. He seems to be the more.
But at the end of the day, 2 yards a carry is 2 yards a carry.
You got that right. And there was Warren Sharp, who I really like on Twitter, is a great follow. Sharp Football had put out the routes that Kenny Pickens had run last night. He looked disinterested in the game. They didn't make any calls for him to get down the field. They're showing a lot of, if you're watching any of the highlights this morning, they're showing a lot of bench shots of him looking dejected. That's a problem.
Because he's a special player. And you kind of knew it was going to be that type of game a little bit, but not to that extent. I mean, you'd still like to stretch the field a little bit because when you have a weapon like that, you got to use it. And I got to give Dr. Roto some credit because yesterday he said, if you're going to play one player from this game, play Zeke. And I did, put him in the flex, and he had a great game.
Had a terrific game. Zeke getting, 130 yards total combined between running and receiving, and got into the end zone as well. So a big night for the Patriots, although I don't know if they wanted it because now the shot at number 1 overall is pretty much gone.
You know what's irritating about it, too? It's just the salt in the open wound for the Steelers or the Patriots fans is that if they were rooting for a loss, a guy like Ezekiel Elliott leading you to the win it's double. It's just a double whammy because it's like he's not part of their long-term plan. He might not even be on the team next year, and he's out there balling, leading you to victory when you don't really want to win. I just think it's funny.
The film doesn't lie, and they're all playing for tape.
And by the way, I don't feel bad. I'll say that. I don't feel bad at all for the Patriots, their fan base. But
I don't know if there are a lot of people that do.
No.
All right, let's go through some of the games. NFL this weekend. Tampa Bay is at Atlanta. Atlanta's a 2.5-point favorite. Just an outright winner. Who do you think wins this game?
Tampa.
Why?
Because of the talent. Mike Evans. I know the Godwin thing's a little weird. This game, by the way, I'm staying away from it as far as the betting actually goes, but for the sake of an outright winner, I'll take Tampa.
Tampa that's split in the division. Tampa was outplayed terribly the first time these two teams played. It was a close game just because Atlanta kept turning it over in the red zone.
Yeah.
I think Atlanta thumps it. I think Tampa's bad right now.
Well, you think this is Todd Bowles' final nail in the coffin.
I do. I don't think he'll get fired now. I don't think they're going to fire him. They'll let him finish the season out. But I
it's
think
the game that you point to when it's Black Monday or whatever at the end of the season. You say that game against the Falcons.
Do you give the Jags any shot against Cleveland? Cleveland's a 3-point favorite.
Yes, only because Cleveland's situation at quarterback isn't much better. I know it's Joe Flacco, but the Rams killed them last week. So I like Cleveland, but I give the Jags a chance, sure.
Yeah, the left tackle being at the third string left tackle with Myles Garrett on the other side.
Yeah.
And if Trevor plays, he's going to get killed.
Mm-hmm. They can't play him. They cannot. You gotta run the marathon, not the sprint.
I totally agree with that. And then whatever's their quarterback wise, I like Cleveland in this game. I think Jacksonville's going to run into a little trouble here before they get Trevor back. And hopefully with the light part of the end of the schedule, they can win those 3 games and be able to take the division. Carolina is at New Orleans. I don't think anybody would pick Carolina to win the game. Would you even consider them covering 5 points?
No. I like the Saints. I mean, they gave the Lions all they could handle last week, despite the electric start from Detroit. But I think the Saints, the question is quarterback. Do we have an update on that? Is it Jameis starting?
It's Jameis or Hill.
Yeah, that's right. But Taysom, they kind of had a weird thing going, a decent thing going, I think, when they sort of massaged Taysom Hill into the game plan instead of just throw him under center. Because I mean, he's a gadget guy. So I think the Saints, they'll do enough to win the game.
I think they'll win the game.
Stinks.
I almost put this in my picks for the week because Carolina is a bad football team. All right. The Rams are at Baltimore. I already picked this game and laid the 7.5. I had no problem laying the 7.5. We all know what Lamar does when he plays teams from the NFC. The Rams are as banged up as any team in football. They had a nice win last week, but coming across the country to play Baltimore, this is going to be a long day for Matthew Stafford and company.
I don't think you can duplicate what you did. I don't think you can do that 2 weeks in a row, put it that way. 2 good defenses, 2 well-coached teams. And like you said, all you got to see is Lamar's record against the NFC.
Indianapolis at Cincinnati. I picked the Bengals. Maybe I'm putting too much faith in Jake Browning and seeing what I did on Monday night.
I don't think you are.
But I guess I will agree to disagree with Pat Kirwan. He likes the Indianapolis defense. I don't. Most Indianapolis games are getting up and scoring. I think Cincinnati with their weapons is going to be able to score in Indianapolis. I think this will be
high scoring.
This would be a game that, to me, if you wanted to have some fun DFS, would you throw a Jake Browning stack in there and try to take advantage of him week 2 because you'd get him for next to nothing?
That's interesting. I will say this. I'm on the record saying I think that Cincy with Jake Browning, if he can stay out of his own way, I think Cincy has a real chance to be the 7th seed. And No one wants to play him, even with him under center. They've got Jamar Chase. They've got T. Higgins in a contract year. They're battle-tested. The whole roster is. So I like Cincy.
Detroit at Chicago. I know as a Lions fan, you have to be, because I'd like to be a Lions. I'd like to sit here and come on the show and say I'm a Lions fan. I'm close. I watch the games, but I'm not emotionally invested the way you are. Right. When the Lions lose a game, I've watched it for so many years of my life. It doesn't hit me the way numb. That it seems. I'm numb. I really am. So when they, when they were blowing the game against New Orleans, I'm like, oh, I've seen this before.
Yeah.
So can they get the sweep against Chicago? They shouldn't have beaten them the last time.
Right. And that's why I think that they'll take care of business this time. You now have it on film. The Lions do struggle against running quarterbacks. So Fields could do his thing a little bit, but I think it's going under. I'll tell you that 42.5. I think the Lions will win this thing. It'll be like, if you've been following the Lions, they beat the Bucs 20-6. They beat the Falcons 20-6. I think it'll be along those lines. A lower scoring game where they're firmly in control and it never really feels like they're in trouble. But with that being said, Mark, it's in Chicago. So we'll see.
Boy, you got a lot of faith in that Lions defense that's looked really porous the last couple of weeks. So for this to be a low, I would take the over, because I think Chicago will score enough points, and I think Detroit will have I think Detroit wins, but I see the game getting a lot higher than you do. Houston on the road taking on the Jets. Houston is a 3.5-point favorite on the road against the Jets.
Yeah, I love Houston. This is probably my favorite line of the week. The Jets just don't score points. And I know that defense is good, very good. They've got some great players on that defense, but it's CJ Stroud's on a heater. He might throw a couple interceptions or whatever, but the Texans 100% should win this game.
Absolutely.
And cover.
And the fact that the Jets defense has been playing so many plays, I think that they've not mailed it in, but there's a certain point in which in that locker room and preparing all week long that your team has zero chance to win with what you have on offense. And I think the frustration level of the Jets defense has hit that point, and they're just getting worn down.
Especially with this Zach Wilson story. That is just bizarre. He gets to the podium yesterday. He's like, no, that's not true. It's okay. Well, Diana Rossini is one of the most respected sources in the whole league. So are you calling her a liar? What's going on here? And I know you can't admit that to the public that you don't want to play. I wouldn't want to play if I was him. I'll say that behind that O-line. And he needs a fresh start somewhere. Anyways, long story short, I 100% agree with you.
He's done in the league. He's not getting a fresh start. He's getting released. This is Josh Rosen. This is bad.
Let me ask you this though: if he hadn't had to play this year, and Rodgers just played all year, maybe Rodgers misses a game or two with an ankle or something like that. Do you think Zach Wilson would still have a little bit of stock?
Stock, no, but he'd still have a job in the league.
Okay, good way to put it. Because he has played so horribly this year. To your point, played his way out of a job.
Got more games to go through on the other side, including the two big ones with Buffalo and Kansas City and Philly and Dallas. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Today was a day one, and what's on tap. That's all still to come. Thanks so much for listening. The Bonus Hour, brought to you by Todd and Jason at the Diamond District.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. I get this sports email every day. I actually feel good about this. It's someone asked the big question. They says, do we have a digital video strategy? Now we've got some of these things we need to do better at, but in fact, basically says if you're a radio show that's not on YouTube or Twitch, you're doing it wrong. So we've been on
100%,
on these platforms for a long time.
You have to make it as accessible as possible, you know?
And it's basically talking about your generation. If we're not on Twitch or YouTube,
we're lazy. Kids my age are lazy and dumb. They're not going to find it unless it's everywhere. Yeah, unless you can watch it.
By the way, you can let that Mark Live interview run Christmas Day.
I will. Totally will. That was great.
That's one. That's where that needs to be cut up into two things and put up on a tweet.
Yep.
That's where we've got to get to.
Yep. And then add the link, like, listen here.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, there we go. Third hour is up, folks. If you missed it, you got to go listen to Mark Lai and Pat Kirwan. I say it every week, but I could listen to Pat Kirwan talk about football for.
Have you ever listened to a show?
Yeah.
On Sirius?
He's phenomenal. Phenomenal. I didn't realize either how many, like, the guests he gets and the people he gets to talk to.
The NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, the NFL promotes that.
I mean, that's big ticket stuff. Like he just casually says on your guys' show too. It's kind of funny. He's just like, yeah, Seahawks. I don't know. I don't know if Kenneth Walker's going to play. I talked to Pete.
He and Pete are close.
Okay. That's
they're
cool.
They're really good friends. He's had Pete down here. Pete was at Sneaky Pete's. There's a bar. It's a dive bar.
Okay.
It's, if you were my age and single, it's where you'd go find women. I have a buddy that does it regularly. And it's a dive bar. But he brought Pete Carroll in there. Pete, in Sneaky Pete's, not one person knew who he was.
Wow. Undercover.
Yep. Or if they did, they certainly didn't walk up and say anything.
Right.
I don't know if they're called Cougars there, Adam. I really don't know if they're called that. Maybe in Naples they're called Cougars, not at Sneaky Pete's.
Sneaky Pete's. That's a perfect name for what you've described it as. Gosh, Patriots fans got to be so fed up with Bill Belichick. Don't you think? Or do you think they still just love him?
No, they're done.
I
all the ones I know are done.
Me too. I feel like they're whole.
And I know a lot of Patriot fans, and they are done.
All right, here we go.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Miller and Moulton, the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. If there's any place that you need to be for the holiday season, it is the Diamond District. Over 20 years in business. Make sure when you stop by to buy your significant other that great piece of jewelry that you tell them that Miller and Moulton sent you. Apparently, we do have influence over people.
Yeah, it's happened.
I received an email yesterday.
Fan mail.
I don't know if I'd call it fan mail. It was to both David and I. It said, Eminem, I was having a discussion with my wife last night. She was encouraging me to do something, and I was not being persuaded. Her retort was, if Miller and Moulton asked you to do it, you would. I agreed. Just wanted to let you know that your influence is real.
That's got to make you feel good.
Thanks for the email, Mike, and I'm sorry to your wife.
Sorry in advance.
Very sorry to your wife. Maybe you should, get that honeydew list. It's just Army-Navy tomorrow. You can get the things done.
Did David see that email?
Yes.
I mean, I know it got sent to him.
Yeah, I believe so. I can't, you know what? That's a great question because I don't know, what email address he sent it to, and David doesn't always.
Because if not, he's got to see that.
No, David didn't see it. There's not a chance. It went to his Miller and Moulton email address, and I don't think he's ever checked that.
It's a black hole.
I'll forward it to him. It's a dadgum good point you bring up right there. All right, back to the games. Minnesota's taking on Vegas. Minnesota's a 3-point favorite. Dobbs going to start for the Vikings. If the Minnesota Vikings are going to make the playoffs, they need to win this football game.
Yes. Now, just to flip that real quick, do you think they make the playoffs? Just yes.
Yes.
You do. Okay. As the 7.
Yes.
So you do think the Packers make the playoffs? Do we get 3 NFC North teams in?
It's a distinct possibility.
Okay.
Because I think Seattle's done for.
I do too. And I think the Rams are surging too. So,
I think the Rams are surging, but I don't think they're going to have enough when it's all said and done.
If the Rams win this weekend, though, which we both picked them to lose, I mean, it's the Ravens for crying out loud. But if the Rams win, they're right. I'd put them in. I'd Sharpie them in. If they can beat the Ravens in Baltimore and they're right back on track, they'll make the playoffs. But not to derail the conversation, this Minnesota-Vegas game, I have no feel for it. 0. I mean, the quarterback play, it's boom or bust. This could be exactly what it was when the Vikings took on the Bears on Monday Night Football and we have a 12-10 final. I will take the Vikings to cover. They have better talent. Justin Jefferson's back. I got Minnesota.
I've got Minnesota as well. I think the point you made, Jefferson back, Addison's played pretty well in his absence.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's just a little bit too much there for Minnesota. It's another battle of backup quarterbacks. I don't know. You've
Kevin O'Connell, though, better coach. I mean, not to take anything away from, forgive me, what's his name? In
Pierce.
Vegas? Pierce. He's doing a good job as the interim. But
yes, but that quick surge of getting them fired up, talent's now going to start showing
Minnesota's
itself.
got more to play for, too.
Buffalo at Kansas City. David and I both picked Kansas City, laid the 1 point earlier in the show. Pat Kirwan, in case you mixed it, he picked Buffalo, thinks Josh Allen's going to run the ball at least 8 to 10 times for 60-plus yards. If he does that, that's the recipe for Buffalo to win. He did point out what I thought was interesting. They're 2-3. You know, Josh Allen's 2-3 against Kansas City. So it's not like it's this insurmountable force that he's up against. But Josh Allen turns the ball over a lot, and Kansas City's defense is really solid. Josh Allen turns it over one too many times for me. That's why I have Kansas City.
And it's an Arrowhead. Look, I have waved the flag for the Bills as my AFC team for the last 5-6 years. Ever since my family went to Orchard Park and watched the Lions play the Bills there. Bills fans are fantastic. I want to root for the Bills. And I know this isn't the Chiefs teams of old, but I can't pick against Mahomes to lose a second straight game in Arrowhead. Can't do it.
Denver at the Chargers. The Chargers are a 2.5-point favorite. Denver coming off the loss last week. The Chargers with that thrilling victory over the Patriots.
Oh, boy.
In a game that set the NFL back a good 50 years if you had to watch it. I have divorced the Chargers. We are separated. We are living apart.
A couple weeks now.
And I said I would not pick them again this year. I am picking Denver.
I mean, I don't know. It's a divisional game. It'll be fun. It'll be more Denver fans than LA fans in that crowd, I believe. I'll take the Chargers, Mark.
It's probably the right pick. Right when
you're doing it out of spite.
Right when we split up. Right when we're living apart. What do? They go win ugly.
Yeah.
But they win on a date just to piss me off.
Yep.
I'm sitting there at home, still crying in my soup.
Yeah.
And they're out on a date. Right. All right. Philadelphia. Seattle and San Francisco. San Francisco, an 11-point favorite. The real question is, do they cover? Not do they win. I don't think you're going to take Seattle. If you are, go ahead and pick them.
I'm not. If Kenneth Walker plays, they'll cover. If not, San Francisco covers easily.
Roto yesterday on the show thinks that Seattle will play. He didn't pick the game, but he said he thinks Geno Smith plays better.
They're desperate.
And I would imagine that Roto thinks they're going to cover, just from what it's worth on that pick. All right, Philadelphia and Dallas. Philadelphia has played so much tough football. This defense has been on the field for seemingly every play for 3 weeks. They are in the perfect spot to get beat by Dallas. I like Dallas in this game. I think Dallas at home, they played them really tough the last time. If Dak doesn't step out of bounds, they might win that. I mean, a couple of bad breaks really went Dallas's way in that game, and what was a really tough, close-fought football game. Philadelphia has played nothing but tough teams since then. Dallas has had cakewalk since then. They're at home. I love the Cowboys.
I echo everything you said, so I won't harp on it. Dak he seems to play really well against Philly. And don't get me wrong, I hate the Cowboys just as much as anybody, but they're going to win this game. There's a reason the line is 3.5, and it's not close to a pick 'em.
Monday night, we'll get into those games on Monday. Green Bay at the Giants, Tennessee at Miami. Miami is a 13-point favorite against the Titans. The Giants are getting 6.5 in the dual Monday night games. Why they're doing that, I have no idea.
At this point in the season, probably just because of I don't know. It's not even like you're competing with college football either because it's Monday night.
Both at the same time. They didn't stagger them.
Which one is David going to?
David is in New York.
Okay.
Packers and the Giants.
I'm sure he would prefer that. I don't know.
No,
Miami would be fun.
not at all.
That's right. Because
he's been pushing for Miami because this is Miami's first appearance on Monday Night Football all year, and he was hoping to see the Dolphins. So
that's true. Didn't even think about it. I was just thinking he gets to go watch his team. He gets to be in New York. But
he loves the trip to New York. He gets to go see his mom. Of anything else, it's a paid vacation to go see your mom, and there's nothing wrong with that. But no, I think he was fired up. We were originally talking because I'm going to be at the casino in Immokalee on Monday for the show. So if you want to come out and play blackjack with me at 6 a.m, I felt so badly because in doing this, and I love that we're there, and Kathy, who's the marketing person at the casino, has been a great friend of mine for a long, long time. But I didn't think she'd have to be there at 6 a.m. I went out to test everything out yesterday, and I said, "What time are you going to be here?" She was 5:30. I said, "You got to come for this?" She said, "Yeah, I've got to be here." I'm like, "I'm sorry.
You didn't think we were dragging
I didn't mean
there?
to do that to you." So I know Kathy will be there. The IT person, that's key. The IT person said, "I guess I got to be here at 6." And I'm like, that would be a good thing.
Please do.
That would be a good thing. So I'll be at the casino. The great event that they're having. Jimmy Johnson's going to be there for the
really.
Yeah,
nice.
They've got a great event with the first throwing of the dice at like 10:15 on Monday. I did
going to stick around for a bit.
Oh yeah, I went yesterday and didn't place a bet. I did my stuff. I had lunch. And I was thinking about taking the equipment back to the car and then coming back in. I'm like, you know what? I'm saving it for Monday.
Leave it in the tank.
Because it's perfect. I want to be able to just go during our commercial breaks, go play 2 hands of blackjack and just make it back just in time.
There are worse places to be than the casino. I'll give you that.
So I'll be at the casino. It's the opening of the craps and roulette on Monday and the sports book. They'll have the retail sports gambling kiosks throughout the casino in Immokalee. The sports book opened in Hollywood yesterday. It opens in Tampa today at the Hard Rock, and then on Monday in Immokalee. So I will be out there for the show. David will obviously be on site at Monday Night Football. That's what's going on Monday as we close out things on a football Friday the way that we always do. The good, the bad, the ugly. Today was a day when and what's on tap here during the Diamond District bonus hour as we went through the games. Trent and I making the picks for the games this week. Trent and I differing really on one pick.
That's it?
Throughout the whole thing. You took the Chargers. I took Denver. 2 picks. You took Tampa. I took Atlanta. The good, the bad, the ugly. Next.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
We got a new computer.
That would be awesome.
Cleaning it up is cleaning it up.
Hey, Trent. Great to meet you.
How you doing?
Excellent.
He goes, "Oh, you got another bass player." I'm a bass player.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
About 50 years worth.
Wow.
No, not quite. Yeah, it is.
Okay, yeah.
Come to think of it, it is about 50 years.
All right, here we go.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
The bonus hour, Miller and Moulton. Thanks so much for listening. Brought to you by the Diamond District. Jason and Todd, 20 years. You know the drill by now. Nowhere else to buy your jewelry. The best designers, the best prices, the best staff.
I finally saw the building, by the way. I drove past it the other day. I was like, hey!
Yeah, you got to go out and get yourself lost a few times, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Which, it's kind of fun. But,
it's a lot harder to hear because there's 3 roads going north and south, and there's, a couple going east and west.
I don't want to get too far off the beaten path, though, because apparently there's gators and panthers and pythons and all sorts of stuff.
Stay in the car. Stay in the car.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
1776 we start. Tough day. Washington and retreating crossed the Delaware out of New Jersey. 1813, tough ticket in Vienna. Beethoven premieres his 7th in A. Scalpers were just out front getting big money for those seats. 1863, Lincoln issues his amnesty proclamation and plan for reconstruction of the South. Today in 1886, the American Federation of Labor forms. The AFL. 1941, day after Pearl Harbor, was FDR's Day of Infamy speech, and we declared war on Japan. 1956 was the closing of the Melbourne Olympic Games, and it started a tradition of the athletes mingling about and talking to one another amid a lot of world tension in 56. It was the first time the athletes all congregated in the closing ceremonies.
That's cool.
Today in 61, Wilt went for 78.
Just another day at the office.
Exactly. 73, John Capoletti wins the Heisman. Today in 1976, the Eagles released the Hotel California album. The Deer Hunter, a real toe tapper, released today in 78.
Have you seen that movie?
Oh, yeah.
Do you like it?
Do I like it? It's a great movie.
Okay.
It is disturbing as all hell.
It's on my list. It's been on my list for like 5 years because I'm a big De Niro guy and all that.
It's disturbing.
Okay.
Maybe
I'll stay away then.
Yeah, it's as dark gets.
Yeah.
Ron Hextall becomes the first goalie to score a goal today in 1987. 2011, the NBA and the players ended their lockout. The season was shortened by 16 games. Kyler Murray wins his Heisman today in 2018. And Brittany Griner was released from a Russian jail 1 year ago today.
It's been a year. Wow. That was a huge story when that happened.
Yeah, no opinions about that around here either. Mary, Queen of Scots, Eli Whitney, Sammy Davis Jr., Cutman Ferdy Pacheco, Flip Wilson, Jim Morrison, Sam Kinison, and Sinead O'Connor all had birthdays today.
Big day.
Kim Basinger and Roy Firestone are both 70 years old today. Heisman Trophy winner George Rogers is 65. Golfer Steve Elkington is 61. Actress Terry Hatcher is 59. QB Jeff George is 56. Bill Johnson, former D tackle for the Oilers and Michigan State, and the largest head of any human I've ever seen in my life, is 55. So is Mike Mussina. Kevin Harvick's 48. Ryan Newman is 46. Brant Snedeker, 43. Phillip Rivers, 42. Nicki Minaj is 41. And Dwight Howard is 38 years old today.
Nicki Minaj is how old?
She's 41.
41. Wow.
And the answer is still yes.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
For the good, we go to the Gatorland Orlando Alligator Park, where they had the rare hatching of a solid white alligator. It's the first solid white alligator to be documented since A nest of leucistic gators were discovered in Louisiana 36 years ago. They believe it is the first one in the world born in captivity. There are 7 known to be alive in the world. 3 are housed at Gatorland.
Okay, so obviously its parents are both green, right?
Yes.
And that is just kind of like
It's a genetic.
It's a genetic thing.
Right.
Okay. Interesting.
For the bad, we go to the Truist Bank in South Fort Myers where they have a new drive-through. That's because someone drove through the front door of the building yesterday. Thank goodness no injuries were reported and no cause as to why the crash happened. I think someone was an idiot.
That's a safe bet.
I remember a girl that I went to high school with crashed into the front of the 7-Eleven, just missed the brake and hit the gas. And to this day, she's 53, 54 years old.
Yeah.
I still see posts on social media. Anytime something like that happens, they will tag her. People will tag her for it.
Oh, that's humiliating.
Finally, the ugly. We go to Lehigh Acres, where Michelle Brunel was trying to pass some phony money. She went to 7-Eleven, Walmart.
That usually doesn't work out very well. Just a tip.
Yeah, each time she went into the Walmart, she was trying to use her counterfeit 20s. She was busted with 4 counterfeit 20s, 6 counterfeit 10s, and printers that she was making the money with.
I always wondered, what if you end up with that cash, but you didn't make it, and there's no evidence, you don't have any print? What's the penalty for that? Nothing?
Your money's no good.
Well, I know that.
I had a friend of mine who was a bookie.
Okay.
That got paid off in some counterfeit money.
Well, so stadiums are all cashless now, but what if you're at the beer stand, you give a guy a 10, he doesn't know? I mean, how does it?
That's why they're checking them with those. That's why they're using those markers and checking them. Yeah, and that is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, December the 8th, 2023.
It's not a good idea to try to make counterfeit money. That's the bottom line.
All right.
What do we got this weekend? What do we got tonight?
What do we have tonight? That's the question. NBA full slate of action. The Magic are hosting your Pistons, Trent. Magic are an 11.5-point favorite. Do you have the guts to take the 11.5 in Detroit?
Is it in Detroit?
No.
Then no. The Pistons are so bad.
Heat are hosting the Cavs. The Cavs are a 1.5-point favorite on the road in Miami.
Heat outright.
So after the semifinals of the tournament last night, everybody else playing tonight. And then tomorrow, just the one game, the in-season tournament finals. I will say the players played hard in this thing.
Yeah. They put a little incentive. They put the money there, the trip to Vegas. I mean, all that. It's worked out.
Adam Silver's getting a win for this. I mean, we mocked it. I still don't love it.
Yeah.
I have no problem with the aggregate scoring. I had no problem with the courts. A couple of them were bad to me.
At least it's just a few games.
But it's
different.
It's what David called it. It's the NFL's color rush or the color rush uniforms.
Yeah.
The only one I really had a problem with was Boston. You don't cover up the parquet floor. Ever. Not ever. If you can figure out a way to do the parquet floor with some color in it, go right ahead.
What if they would have done that with like a few shades of green?
Then it would have been awesome.
It would have been sweet.
It would have been awesome.
Yeah.
But I saw the floor in Boston. I went, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
There's one court in the NBA that we all know.
It's iconic. Yeah. You don't change that. But they did.
Panthers are hosting the Penguins tonight. So if you want to trek across the alley, Panthers are minus 165 in that game. Edmonton is hosting Minnesota, and St. Louis is at Columbus. College basketball, I know Friday night is a real dead night. No ranked teams playing college hoop tonight, just a bunch of small college games on the slate as far as that goes.
Fairleigh Dickinson plays. You might remember them as the 16th seed that upset Purdue last year. And that's about all I got.
And the Grant Thornton Invitational is underway at Tiburon. For those of you heading over this weekend, always a great event. That is underway at Tiburon today with the LPGA and PGA Tours players teaming up in a mixed event this weekend in Naples. That's about it for what's on tap this weekend. 2 great NFL football games. Buffalo and Kansas City, Philadelphia and Dallas, but every single NFL game has some sort of meaning. It's a red zone weekend to me.
It's a good way to put it. Every single game holds weight because we even talk about Panthers Saints. I mean, that NFC South is winnable for all three teams that are not the Carolina Panthers.
No, there's not a game this weekend that doesn't involve a team that's in the hunt right now.
Right.
It's
There's no two bad teams playing each other.
Yes, we've got a lot of 6-6, and that's the reason why. But it's certainly a solid weekend because someone's getting beat that shouldn't. And I'm telling you right now, we both picked Minnesota. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Vegas ends the Vikings.
Not at all. It's Josh Dobbs.
Because they're not playing that well. If the Jets beat Houston, you'd be surprised. I think I'd be a little surprised.
I don't think I'd be that surprised given their defense, but I'm with you. I mean, the point stands. Every single game has weight.
And if Moulton wouldn't have picked Chicago earlier in the show, I would have picked Chicago against Detroit.
To cover or to win?
To win.
Oh, boy. You're killing me. I can't emotionally take that because they looked terrible against the Bears in that first game and squeaked out a win. You better right the ship here.
They looked terrible against the Packers.
Their defense
They
is very
looked
banged up.
terrible other than the first 7 minutes against the Saints. They hung on for dear life in that game.
And the Chargers game, too.
So I think the Lions are going backward right now. It would, put it this way, it would actually impress me if they go win in Chicago.
That would impress you.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Is this kind of your line in the sand game for, if they go out and not just win, but they look great? If they win 35-14.
If they pull a Dallas and go beat down a bad team, color me impressed.
Well, you put them back in the top echelon. I mean, it's 49ers and everyone else.
Like Monday night, Miami should win and cover. They should run away with that game against Tennessee. If they don't, I would be like, what the hell happened?
Mm-hmm. Especially with how their season ends, their schedule ends. I mean, there's not really much more opportunity to really go thump a team.
No.
So I'm with you on that. And by the way, I think the Dolphins are going to hang on to this 1 seed. I think they've got the tools for it. They've got the coach for it. They got Hard Knocks going, so it'd be good for the show. Come on.
Love the coach.
He's awesome.
Love McDaniel. That Hard Knocks has made me like him even more.
Yeah. Because
he just seems like the genuine article. It looks like he's having fun every day at work. And he, one of those people that brings that energy that you have a little bit of that quality. You are always in a good mood. You are a guy that I see at 5:30 in the morning. I walk in, good morning. And I'm like, holy cow, he's already ready to go. You've got that same kind of energy. David and I don't have that happy energy. I wish I had more happy energy.
I'm sure it'll dry up at some point. I mean, I'm like 2 years out of college. Just moved to Florida. Yippee.
And the perfect time to do it, right before the cold hits.
Right.
I mean,
I'm still wearing shorts when it's 60 degrees. Everyone's like, you're insane. I'm like, guys, I'm from Michigan. This feels like summer. And it's only going to get hotter. Let me ask you this on the Hard Knocks front, though, before we switch gears and coast into the weekend here. Is there a team that you'd rather see on Hard Knocks in the end season than the Dolphins right now?
The Niners.
The Niners?
The Niners.
I just feel like that'd be boring.
Not to me. Because what I've loved about this is the stuff they're giving us in game. The NFL film stuff.
That's true.
The stuff they're giving us in game that we don't get anywhere else.
The end season is different for that reason because the games matter and you're actually getting real intel and stuff that you wouldn't see.
Right. Whereas in the first one, you're getting preseason games and who gives a damn?
That's why you want storylines and that kind of stuff.
So, yeah, and you're getting more camp stuff. So I love the game action, being able to see their instant reactions to players, to see their genuine excitement about winning.
Yeah. I think Philly would be another great option because Jalen Hurts is magnetic.
And Tua's been great on this.
Yeah.
I would think Tua's winning some people over, but you never know how this, because it seemed that most people had their minds made up on Tua one way or another heading into the season. I don't know how many Dolphin fans that I think he's won them all over now.
Yeah. If not, should have. He's still right. He's firmly in that MVP mix. I mean, he's not the front runner.
He's not the MVP on his own team. Tyreek Hill is.
I understand, but they're not going to give it to a wide receiver.
I don't know.
They should. I'm with you. I would love nothing more than for them to start dishing these awards out to non-quarterbacks because I'm with you.
Look at what we think of Kansas City now.
Yeah.
And how differently we'd think of them if he was there. And if you took him off of Miami, they're not the same team.
Well, this is why it would drive me even more insane if Brock Purdy wins the MVP. Because he might have the numbers and they might have the record, but he's the, fifth best player on the team? Maybe. So it's a quarterback award. It is what it is. I just think if Tua goes and wins that thing, that'd be huge for the Dolphins. If they get that 1 seed, it'd be even bigger. You just don't want to play the Bills. You don't want to play the Bills.
Well, if they're the 1 seed,
they won't have to.
They won't have to because
two.
they will have beaten the Bills in the last game of the season, and I think that would take the Bills out of the playoffs.
No, you're right. You're exactly right.
Because the tiebreakers do not. We've talked about this ad nauseum, but the tiebreakers don't favor the Bills. They don't favor the Bengals. They've got to win games.
Their margin for error is razor thin. I guess to Pat's point, that's what Pat Kirwan. Maybe that's why Josh Allen might be bulling a china shop and go win this thing for them. We'll see. 1 point
spread in that game. Miller and Moulton both taking Kansas City. Pat Kirwan taking Buffalo. Trent on our side with Kansas City as well. If you miss any part of the show any day, download it at all your usual places or floridasportsnetwork.com. Have an amazing weekend. I'll be at the casino on Monday. David will be at Monday Night Football. Until then, enjoy your weekend.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 35